just get this dam working, and we have a shot at restoring limited power.
No, Collins. Caesar, weak. Cobra, weaker.
You heard it up top. Our quest continues as our long-form series coverage embarks on another journey. It's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes here on Normies Like Us with your hosts, why Colin Rocket?
Mike Reese.
This is Kaba. Apes,
Kaba.
follow Kaba now.
No, the usurper.
Usurper.
Caesar is weak.
Wow.
Kaba is weaker. Yeah, it's Mean Monkeys once again. I'm assuming this is our last episode of the year, so
Happy Norm years.
Norm year.
Happy Mean Monkeys to us all.
That's
yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Ape Nation, rise up,
Yeah.
Back at it again. We love our Planet of the Apes, our Mean Monkeys. It's kind of dawning on me now that, we only have 2 more, and then we're going to be maybe a bonus episode, but that's it. We're coming to the end of the road here, and it's a little bit of a sad thing.
It is. It's been such a long journey, Mike. This is one of the longer series that we've covered. I always bring it up, but I'll reiterate again. We used to just do these episodes in the winter holidays, so I think it's super fitting that we're squeezing one in here, that it's going to be the last of our year. Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about this. How about you guys?
Hell yeah. Always happy to talk about my Mean Monkeys. But yeah, we only have 2 after this, including Kingdom, which just came out last year, so I'm excited to revisit that. But yeah, I'm excited for the middle part of the Caesar trilogy, you could call it.
Yeah. And we've been doing these in order, and we saw these when they came out. I assume we'll talk about our history, but it is cool going back to these after having watched all of the originals and seeing kind of what they're referencing and having that going on. I think the last one was very much sort of a retelling of Conquest, and this is kind of a retooling of Battle 4 in a lot of ways, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, I'm excited to revisit it. But what's your history with this one? See it when it came out?
You know what? I don't remember exactly when I first saw this. I don't know if I saw it in theaters or not. Maybe Colin, you'll remember for me, but
we didn't together, because I'll tell you guys, this is only the second time I've ever seen this film. For some reason, I skipped seeing this one in theaters and saw the next one in theaters, the rare missed one that people are like, well, this is like the best one. So I guess I wish I would have seen it in theaters.
Yeah. I'm not sure I saw this in theaters either. I probably saw it on streaming or something. I'm interested to see whether this one or the next one is actually the best one or holds up the best. We'll talk about this one, but I liked it.
Yeah.
When it came out at the time.
Yeah. I had only seen it on an airplane. I didn't see it in theaters either. So this is honestly the second time I've watched it and seeing it kind of on the quote unquote big screen at home or whatever. And yeah, it's cool. It was, I enjoyed it a lot. Spoiler, but I'm glad we got to this trilogy. I think is really underrated, not to bury the lead, but it's really holding up so far through at least the first 2. It's like, wow, people don't talk about these enough. So we're going to talk about it for you today.
And this is really taking it to another level where we had the origin story, and now we have the actual Planet of the Apes, which is what it's become.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then other than that, I think that's pretty much all we have up top, unless we want to dive into the Planet of the Apes. We can go into the meat of the episode.
Go!
Let's do it.
We're back. We're just getting to it, because we're talking another entry in the Planet of the Apes. We're talking the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves, who is taking over this franchise. He's someone who's going to continue with it. And obviously extremely popular now. We talked Batman in the past. We talked a Batman tie-in series quite recently, The Penguin. So the man has been busy and working.
I drafted the Batman in our superhero draft, famously, Matt Reeves. And I guess Rupert Wyatt was going to come back for this. And then he said, I don't think I can do it in the time frame. So then Matt Reeves came in and he was like, hey, could I just rewrite the entire script and just do anything I want? And they were like, sure, I guess so. So he kind of had full creative control over this.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, well, let's talk about so his early career, or at least what I was aware of when this movie came out. I was like, oh, Matt Reeves. Obviously, I knew him from Cloverfield, which was
That's
sort of
right.
his big debut. But actually, this was kind of interesting. I didn't know this when I was looking up. I was looking at the different actors. Obviously, Kerry Russell is in this movie. I was like, oh yeah, Felicity. I
Oh,
clicked on the
right.
Felicity Wikipedia page, and I didn't realize that was co-created by him
Mhm.
and J.J. Abrams. Because I always think of J.J. Abrams created, but Matt Reeves, one of the first things he was known for was co-creating the show Felicity. So a
Okay.
little different than a lot of his film work, but obviously he was friends with J.J. Abrams going way back, Cloverfield.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did a movie called Let Me In, which is a remake of the Danish film, I think, Let the Right One In, which is a vampire film.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen the original when I heard they were remaking it, and I was like, I don't know why they need to remake it for American audiences. But then I did see it, and I was like, that's pretty good for an adaptation. I mean, I think I like the original better, but I did like that adaptation.
The
So
guy who always defeats your assumption of what you think his mediocre work is going to be. Because Cloverfield, a gimmick movie, and it somehow overcomes
yeah,
that, right?
True.
and there was a lot of buzz with Cloverfield when it came out because it was sort of this found footage monster movie, and found footage was a huge trend at the time, of course. And it really broke him into Hollywood. And then he's been making some good choices with sort of the franchises and things that he picks to direct, obviously with Batman. But this is sort of what propelled him into becoming a blockbuster director. Because before this, Let Me In 2010 was a good movie, but it wasn't really, it wasn't one of these big franchise movies. So this is a big step up for him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it made, like $700 million. It was very popular worldwide, So yeah, it really did it was his kicking open the door. The door was open, but this is him fully kind of coming into his own
Yeah.
as a Hollywood director. So, and I'm glad that it happened because after seeing Batman and then watching this, I'm like, this kind of has some Batman energy going on. And, we'll talk about that too. But
Right, right.
it feels
And
like
have
a
you
Matt
seen
Reeves joint.
yeah, have you seen Let Me In, the
I have not.
this vampire movie that he made? It's about a kid vampire and a human kid, I guess, starring one of the kid from this movie, Cody Smith McPhee. Uh,
Oh,
Oh,
right. That's the connection. I
yeah, so he's
completely
using a lot of
forgot.
actors he's worked with before, but we'll talk all about that. Yeah, I saw the original. The original is one of the best movies of the like 2000s. It's a really good movie, and
mm-hmm.
this one it was okay, but it wasn't like amazing. And then I saw this, and I'm like, wow, yeah, Matt Reeves, he can handle something like this for sure.
Was Felicity his only TV collaboration with JJ? Or I know you guys are Lost heads. Did he do Lost? Did he do an episode of Lost or something?
I
I
don't
think
think he
probably
was.
not, right?
No, I don't think he was.
His name wasn't on my radar at
Involved
that
with
time, so I wouldn't
Lost.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, he was kind of directing a couple different shows, just episodes of shows. It seems like in the late '90s and early 2000s, and then Cloverfield was sort of his big break for
Now,
making movies.
JJ, a guy I don't love. I've said before, he's maybe one of my
Yes.
least favorite filmmakers because I think he's just so creatively bankrupt and unimaginative. I will recount, of course, the famous story of him because it does tie in with Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves was the friend with him who their first big break in Hollywood was digitizing Steven Spielberg's home movies and childhood films, like all the stuff that he makes in that what's it called? The Spiegelmans? What the hell is that? The
The
Fablemans?
story
What's it
Fablemans,
called?
right?
Fablemans, yeah,
Fablemans. Yeah, like
Yes.
great
that,
movie.
all those movies, like J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, for real, digitally converted those little movies that you see him making in that film. So
No, no
kind
kidding.
of a interesting duo, the two of them.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is pretty well. I don't like JJ Evil either, Evil. Maybe I have Freudian slip, but
JJ
it's
Evil.
like I was happy to see that Zori did make it into this movie at least.
Oh my!
Zori,
They've
man,
never
we're gonna talk
forgotten
about that.
her. You do have to give them credit that
That's
they
right.
seem in love
Good
with
old
Carrie
Carrie.
Russell,
That's
which
right.
is
That's right.
something the rest of the world doesn't seem. So
No.
I like Carrie Russell,
Yeah,
and
she's
I've
fine.
never seen Felicity though. But have you guys seen Felicity?
no,
No.
never.
They should have named
It's
one
about a
remake
girl that
Felicity.
goes to college, kind of thing. Very
That seems to be what it's
different than a
about.
lot of the genre type stuff that Abrams and Reeves work on. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that was their sort of big break.
She was in his Mission Impossible 3. You guys just said she was also
Yeah.
Zori. She's never stopped working. She has some very popular. She did The Americans, which I know you've watched before, Jacob.
Listen.
And then she's done another one now called like Mrs. President or something like that. But
Mrs.
please
President.
ramble about The
I
Americans.
was going to bring this up because you guys may know her as Zori You Made It, but of course she was in The Americans, one of the most underrated shows ever made.
Is
A show that I would put on the level of Mad Men and Breaking Bad and these kind of shows. Absolutely, but it just doesn't get talked about enough. It wasn't appreciated when it was on, and it's a great show. It's about Soviet spies living in America in the 80s during the height of the Cold War, doing spy stuff, and also they're married, but their marriage is like their cover, so they have to, and they have kids, so it's like a deep cover kind of thing. And so they've got it, they've got family issues.
I got all this summed up to me when I watched the hit film Black Widow. Thank you, Jacob. Marvel's
course,
Black Widow. Which
That's
has,
right.
the exact same plot, so I don't need to see this.
But this is great. I mean, it's one of the best shows ever made, and it just doesn't get talked about, doesn't get seen enough. Super underrated, but I'll always, fight for it. And fun fact: so Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys are the couple on the show, and they actually met while working on the show and ended up in a relationship and getting married, and now they're married. So there you go. They had
an
real
actor I
chemistry.
often mix up with the actor in this film, Jason Clarke.
Yes.
Quite often I'm like,
but he's a better
that
actor.
Guy. I don't know that either of them are my favorite.
Listen. Watch The Americans. It's a great show, and it'll change your mind about all of that, probably. Maybe.
Fair.
I don't know.
Well, not to undercut the Kerry Russell hype and the Matt Reeves history lesson, but I think we could transition to the star of the show, which is Andy Serkis returning as Caesar, also, back at it again with this movie. Did he
make
Star Wars
one more point? I'm so sorry, Mike.
Actually, no, that makes it even better.
I'm just realizing now the hit film Cocaine Bear, which does star Kerry Russell, does open with a cameo of Matthew Rhys as the guy who is transporting the cocaine, jumps out of an airplane, dies, and then gets eaten by a bear.
Yes.
I'm now realizing, as Jacob said, that is because they are married.
They're married.
Sorry,
they met on that show. And I
That's
believe she was married to someone else when they started shooting that show, and then some things happened, and then they ended up together, so I don't know, but they have great chemistry on that show.
Right? Yeah, there's like a lot of banging.
There's a lot of banging, and they're always doing missions, and then they,
missions.
They're always wearing disguises and stuff, and then they're going back and making love.
Get me in the copywriting business.
That's right, Missions and Missionary.
That's the working title.
But they have to stop like their kids. Their kids are basically just American kids because they're raised in America, so they don't know anything about it, and so they have to hide all this stuff from their kids. It's very suspenseful. So yeah, check it out.
A suspenseful thriller. All right, and brought to you
Kerry
by
Russell. She's
CBS.
a good actress. Yeah, even though she may not seem like it in this movie, she is a good actress.
She was FX's Americans, right?
I believe it was. It was FX.
Sorry, yeah.
Great show though.
Check us in the mail.
But yeah, Caesar, the real star of the show, my boy Caesar. We love him.
Yeah,
you love him.
He's back.
Andy Serkis. He's back.
Basically, yeah, we're and we have there's a human ape dynamic at play, which is why we're talking about Kerry Russell and Jason Clarke and stuff. But yeah, really, we have the human side and then the ape side. This is 10 years after Rise, and I hate the titles because I think we should Dawn and then Rise, but whatever. And now Caesar has established his little society in the woods. It's been 10 years; they haven't seen humans for 2, and then we're kind of. Yeah, that's our starting point. We see like how much the apes have kind of evolved in their intelligence. They're teaching each other stuff. Ape not kill ape. Ape together strong. Right. Yeah.
He's a great leader. He's ape Jesus, as we've discussed.
Yep.
And he's a great man. We all love him.
He is cinematically the language that this film is sort of walking you down the line with is the viewer. The last film, you could argue, James Franco was the star, right? Like he probably had quote unquote the most screen time because I'm sure the digital technology, the performance that Andy Serkis is doing, they don't know how much they're going to dump into it. Let's put in as much Caesar as we can. Yeah. The opening of this film is Caesar. It is, as Mike said, Caesar and his colony, specifically out on a hunt. where they're trying to get elk or something and they end up fighting a bear. Most of this intro 10 minutes is completely silent, and the only actors on screen are apes, and the technology has progressed, would you guys say, incredibly, like with leaps and bounds? It is so fucking astounding.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And yeah, it's like I mean, even compared to Kingdom, which just came out last year, it's like it can't look much better than it already. It's kind of like video games for me now, where there's like incremental increases now every year or whatever. And it's like you can't, like, pretty much they perfected graphics like 10 years ago. They can't really get that much better to me anyway.
We could do ray tracing, but yeah, like
Ray tracing, yeah, but it's always just very small increases because the things already look so good at this point.
Plateaued. But what they're doing with this,
Yeah.
and this is something that Matt Reeves wanted to do, is he's like, let's do a lot of location stuff and let's do weather. So last time it's very dry, but like they had the hose, but like there's a lot of rain and weather and there's fire, and to put the technology out in the real world and like make it look that good, they really did push it, and just the sheer number of apes in this.
Yeah, and you've got so many ape characters, where you have Koba, you have Rocket are
Luca,
all our favorites. Maurice,
Cornelia, Blue Eyes,
Cornelia,
Ash,
that all have to be modeled in detail, right? And are all played by different actors and stuff. So, yeah, a lot of work goes into it.
Yeah, it's a technology showcase. Shout out to Weta Digital. Also, shout out to Terry Notary, who's Rocket, but he's also the trainer of the ape stuntmen and the movement coach for the actors. He's been doing it since Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. So he's like always been doing the movement coaching and stunt work, and then he goes on to do Kong and Skull Island. So there's a Godzilla connection for you.
There you go.
And we have to talk about the second biggest ape character, probably the villain of this movie, Koba, who's played by Toby Kebbell. In this movie, I think he was played by a different actor in the first movie, but was recast because it's a bigger part. Yeah. And he really is the biggest antagonist of this movie and Caesar's biggest rival.
He's so evil looking.
He is
very evil looking.
He has a tragic backstory.
Yeah.
I did some research into this because we know he was like a lab test subject for animal testing, but
he was tortured by humans. Yeah.
This human work, right? But there's
that
like
PC
more.
Talk to yourself, ma'am.
Right. No, but I read that there was a book that was like a prequel, and it went into Koba's backstory, and he was like a showbiz monkey that was also abused, and his trainer like cut his eye and burned his eye with a cigarette and stuff. Like, it's way darker. Jesus. So it explains why he distrusts humans. So when he's pointing at his scars, like this human work, like that might not all be from the lab. That could be from abusive trainers earlier in his life. But yeah, he's distrustful of humans, and meanwhile we have Caesar, who's like our Charles Xavier or Magneto kind of thing going on with them.
That's right. It's a real Magneto, Professor X thing. And I thought Koba was always a very strong character, even when he was introduced in the last movie. Like, immediately I was just like, oh, this guy, I need to know more about him as a character. And so they do a good job of having that backstory for why he hates humans and stuff. And he really is Caesar's main rival within the ape tribe, right? Right.
But in the beginning, it's kind of set up with this bear hunt, like that they're kind of like homie. They trust each other as brothers. And we see like he saves Caesar.
Yeah.
yeah. And like Caesar's trying to intimidate the bear, which is non-violent, and Koba's immediately like, I will stab you in the spine. And that kind of shows a little bit of their personality difference subtly, as in the open here. But,
yeah. And we meet some other characters like Blue Eyes, the son of Caesar, who's attacked by the bear in the beginning. And he really becomes a big character in this because he is sort of conflicted, caught between his father and Koba, because he believes certain things about Koba at one point, doesn't have all the information, obviously, but he has to make some decisions in this movie.
He's trying to figure out who he is as a young ape, who he's going to be. He's got a little bit of a rebellious streak. His dad's like, you got to be patient sometimes, but he's like, I want to look cool. Like, so he's kind of is caught between the two ideologies, and he is a big character in this too.
I like that he's called Blue Eyes, a nice reference to Bright Eyes, of course, and he does have
grandmother
blue eyes. Yeah, his grandmother.
Exactly.
What is the new baby's name? Do we ever get it? Is it like Caesar Jr. or something?
I think it's Cornelius, right? Or in the next movie, it's Cornelius.
I think so.
Cornelia has the son Cornelius. That's
sure.
Seems like it. They joked on set that they called it Will, on set after Will Rodman.
Oh.
But
Oh,
I
really?
want to bring that up.
You're
Oh, guys,
wasting
I'm
your
not
quiz
sick anymore.
questions, Mike. I love it.
My dad, Will Rodman.
Will
That's
Rodman.
right. Well, when
I
Cornelius
was, by the way,
says, I'm not sick anymore, it's great.
He does.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not sick.
I did read, hopefully this doesn't spoil your quiz, Mike, but I read one thing about they
Mhm.
asked a producer, like, when they were, when this movie was coming out, they're like, so what happened to James Franco and Frida Pinto? And he's like, oh, well, they obviously died from the Simian Flu. So apparently they're dead now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That not part of the quiz, but yeah, they died off screen. I mean, he was in the lab. Patient Zero was like his coworker.
That's
I'm sure
true.
they caught it.
Oh,
but-
and they say it. I
They
mean,
weren't
there's-
genetically immune.
Yeah, there's an intro video that's like pandemic spreading across the
This
world. I
was
like, oh,
fascinating
no.
to watch post COVID, obviously. I was like, damn,
Yikes.
they were on something right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
But obviously,
they were-
much worse. 1 in 500 basically are immune. Everyone else dies.
Right.
But yeah, very, post pandemic, it's like, oh, that's too real, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like they're even like, oh yeah, it was made in a lab by people. It's like, oh no.
They
But
didn't have a choice. Those
Right.
poor apes that were worked on.
Right.
All
But
right, lady.
and we mentioned the end credits of Rise has that same showing the vector of the virus as like a
Mhm.
teaser, and then they pay it off in the opening credits here. That's so very well done.
Yeah. They have a montage of like newscasts of like shit's going to hell.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, it becomes the Planet of the Apes.
It's
Paid
kind of how
off
Mad
is the
Max
optimal
opens.
word. Yes,
Right.
The oil
absolutely.
wars and all this,
Yeah, you
The
get
world has
a
fallen.
quick build up of the story, a little payoff for some history. Luckily, we got another film to tell us all that. But this movie goes with the promise of, yeah, you're gonna see him start to build this world. I like this stuff of him like having a little tribe. I like that he has his lieutenants. I like that he's really trying something here, that he does command people around. There's a scene later where Rocket's asking what Caesar's going to do for the revenge that we'll talk about. And Caesar just looks so weary of like, why do I have to make these goddamn choices? Like, it is so fascinating to see him like later also pine for like, oh yes, I used to be a little baby that a man used to hold.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like we
He's
talked
become
about
a real,
in the last one.
Yeah.
Well, he's ages. He's our best character, Jacob, and we love Caesar because you see him grow and become such a more fascinating character with each film he appears in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's really a great leader, and he has the quality that all great leaders have, where he doesn't really want to lead, but he, has it thrust upon him basically, and he has to lead this tribe. Yeah, he's a great character, so I love him.
Yeah, and he's learning in this movie as we go through it the weight of leadership. Like at this point, he's gotten his apes established and everything. He wants to be, kind and a good ruler until one day they come across a human, and then now we get this kind of can we coexist parable that's going to play out for
Right.
the rest of the movie.
Ape not kill ape, of course.
course.
Apes together strong.
Of course.
We all know this to be
He's
true.
given the law.
Apes live in a 76 gas station. You're like, okay,
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
rule that you have to add.
It's been 10 years. There's a bunch of trees around the gas station already. It seems like the gas station's in the middle of the
Why
forest.
is there so much foliage in 10 years? Later, when they're
I
in
was
the
wondering about
city
that.
and
Yeah.
like the buildings have like growth on them, I do want to go like, it's not fucking.
Yeah, it's not The Last
Us.
of Us.
Or what's the Will Smith one?
I Am Legend.
Yeah, it's not I Am
Yeah.
Legend. It's like
It's only been
been
10
years. It's
Those
not
trees wouldn't
that
even have
long.
grown all
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah. Well, they go up to a state park, I guess. They pass the sign. They're deeper into
Yeah.
the park.
They're out in
but
the
yeah,
red.
there's a lot of foliage on the buildings. I agree.
Yeah. But of course,
like-
this human colony of survivors is living in the ruins of San Francisco, and they want their power back because they lost power. Obviously, the nuclear plants all shut down and everything. So they're investigating this dam, electro power station. If they can get that running, then they can get power back in the city, right?
Right. So then one of their party comes across Blue Eyes and Ash, who are walking around, palling around in the woods, and he gets nervous and shoots Ash in the arm. And then,
Ash was
Well,
just
they-
trying to catch them all, of course.
of course, he was.
Um,
And that's Rocket's son, Ash.
Yes,
Team
Rocket.
Rocket's son.
That's right, correct.
Team
Dude,
Rocket and Ash, of course.
wow. I hope they did that on purpose.
It's a
But
joke.
that puts the apes on notice. They all rush down. We got the full squad shows up, and these humans cannot believe what they are seeing.
Yeah. Now this is interesting because it means basically not all the humans knew about the outbreak of the Simian Flu, that it made all the apes smart because they're so surprised that they can talk and stuff. So that must have been sort of withheld by the government to a certain degree when the
Simian
outbreak was happening.
Flu. I also
Yeah.
want to highlight the Jacob to the thing you said about that interesting so COVID like the fact that we've had a thing now called monkeypox. It's like, oh
Yeah. We have the
Yeah.
bird flu, the avian flu, right?
yes,
So
oh swine flu.
Yeah.
swine flu. So many bad things out there.
Mad cow disease. We're running out of animals.
Your COVID started because a bat bit Caesar.
Right?
These are no.
Oh,
But that's a really
Yeah.
powerful moment when it's really tense, and then he just yells go, and like even though we know Caesar can talk, it still feels like it's the first time you're hearing him speak. Like they really get gravity out of that moment.
well, and the shock that he is not the only one, that the rest of his
Yeah.
brethren join in and say go as well. I mean, are they having vocalization classes? It doesn't seem to just be the
I
intelligence. It seems like Caesar's
Yeah.
like, no, we also need to start using words.
I
Yep.
like this because in this movie it's sort of a mix between, they use a mix of sign language and spoken words, but it's almost like they're in the process, like they're all in sort of different stages of learning to talk, because some of them, like Caesar talks a lot, some of them only sign. I mean, there's a big moment where his son speaks for the first time instead of signing. So it seems it's a new thing for a lot of them, but they're learning.
Right, and some know how to write because we do have English language written on the wall. I don't know if that's just Maurice, but there's
Yeah.
a form
Oh,
of
yeah.
writing being
Maurice,
established.
he's sort of the teacher
And
of
We
the
reading.
said
orangutan.
before, Maurice, Mike, in your little background thing, was there any story on what is this guy's deal? We said the last one, it's like he seems already so intelligent.
Well, he was
They
a
said-
circus orangutan,
Yeah.
they said in the first one, so he knew sign language. But yeah,
Yeah.
he seemed way more intelligent than a normal
Yeah,
orangutan should be, for
Maybe he
sure.
was genetically predisposed to be kind of a lot smarter, like this
Yeah.
genetic outlier. So then he's like, yeah, I can learn writing. I got this. Like, no worries. It's Maurice, baby. And this kind
Yeah.
of is where the Battle of the Planet of the Apes, because they have their school. No, Aldo, no. Like
Right.
it's kind of
Mike, I
Yeah.
would have given anything to try and remember what the little one's name was. It was, of course, Aldo. You're exactly right.
That's
dude.
right.
I
That's
love
right.
it.
He
Never
added a
say no
negative
to an ape.
imperative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never say no to it.
But Maurice is kind of stepping
take me
into the
back.
role of that orangutan advisor to Caesar in Battle for. He's kind of like the conscience of like, hey man, you're doing a good job, Caesar. He's kind
Yeah.
of his right hand ape. And then
I
his
like that the
general is
orangutans always just seem to have some sort of like intellectual role. Like I feel like that's a reference to the originals where the orangutans were like the scientists and stuff.
Koba. Mhm.
Um in the like politicians and everything, and like even in Kingdom there's like that ape or that orangutan character
Yeah.
that we'll talk about
Rocco,
in 2
yeah.
months. Yeah.
He kind of takes on the more
Right.
religious side because they're also like doing the
Yeah.
lawgiver stuff. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, he's like a priest. I really
Yeah.
like it.
But
It's keeping the word of Caesar alive.
I love the design of their little colony because it looks like the amphitheater where they have their like meetings in the original movie.
Mm.
That stone amphitheater
Yeah.
kind of has that shape.
Mike, I love the design of it, but what I love more, and in this burst scene we see this, is the culture. You've got the ape midwives that like wear like bones or like little teeth like as masks all over their face as they give birth. I'm like, what is going on here? What is this?
Yeah. They're creating like a new culture.
Mhm.
Feels very sort of like almost Native American inspired or something, where it has a lot with like nature and stuff.
Cave people. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're
Yeah.
very grounded. One with nature is a good way to put it. And then, yeah, you have like the kids that are trying to learn, but then they see the hunters coming back and they don't want to do school. Like that's kind of the theme. Where do we go? The intellectual route or the warlike route, right?
Yeah.
They're very subtle with some things that you wouldn't expect a monkey movie to do. So, yeah. But I want to maybe put the foil then on the human side because we have Koba who doesn't trust humans at all, and Caesar who wants to try to get along. Then we have Jason Clark's Malcolm who wants to try to get along.
That's right.
And Gary Oldman's Dreyfus, who doesn't care about the apes at all. They kind of have a counterpart in each society, And Caesar has
Yeah.
a son, and Malcolm has a son and a wife, and so they're kind of a
And
mirror
you
of
have
each other.
Dreyfus. The thing that kind of surprised me is that I remember Dreyfus almost being like a bigger part of this movie. I was
Mhm.
surprised that Gary Oldman actually wasn't in it as much as I thought. And there's this other sort of bad human that's like with
Oh,
Malcolm's
fuck
crew
this
that
guy.
kind of
Yeah.
fucks things up for.
Fuck
So
this
I,
guy. Fuck this moron.
yeah,
I kind of think this is maybe Gary Oldman's one of his weakest performances, unfortunately, because he's really just given you Commissioner Gordon, and you're
I
like,
yeah, he's
couldn't
sort of
shake the
phoning it in
Commissioner
to a
Gordon.
degree,
Yeah.
but it's probably like they offered him a check, and he's like, you probably just have to shoot like 2 weeks. Like you can probably shoot all your scenes in like 2 weeks because he's just mainly just at the base, at the colony.
It's like, do you like talking into
Um,
megaphones, Gary?
yeah.
Boy, do I
yeah, and
ever.
he is really doing Commissioner Gordon.
Here's a note I'll give all of us for our lives just going forward, especially in the
Hmm.
coming years when things are just going to get worse and worse. The water wars, which certainly are
Hmm.
upon us. Uh, if you're surviving in the post-apocalypse and you have the chance to join a place called the Colony or something like that, just stay on your own. Like I
Yeah,
promise you, it's never worth it to be part of some sort of like group of humans that's like don't these people seem like they're 10 days away from eating each other? You're like,
Right.
yeah.
relax.
Well, it does remind me of like The Last of Us, where there's like different communities, or like The Walking
Yeah.
Dead. There's like communities; they all have their own weird rule. And like with Walking Dead, it was so funny because like every community is like, oh, they'd be great if it weren't for the one thing they do, like they eat people, or they
Hmm.
they follow a maniac
Yeah.
with a baseball bat that kills people. But you kind of you have to have one weird quirk in a post-apocalyptic
Yeah. I
society.
hate it.
I just hate how much they hang out in that little promenade. Like, don't you have other things to do? You just congregate all
No.
day down
Right.
here?
Yeah.
Go to your
Just do your
room.
Waiting for the lights to come on.
Right.
wait
So
for the
they,
lights.
as Jacob alluded to, though, yeah, they want to get the generator. They're running out of gasoline or whatever they're using to power their generators. They're trying to get a radio going to contact other humans and be like, all right, what society's going on? But the metaphor of like, hey, Caesar, will you literally help us attain more power as humans? Like it's
Right.
not subtle,
Yeah.
but it's good, So
Yeah, and like I said,
yeah.
the different humans have different ideas of how to deal with the apes, and obviously, so Jason Clark is the Caesar of humans, where he wants to
Hmm.
work peacefully with them, and then like Dreyfus is
He says
the
we'll kill every
Koba.
last one of them. We'll go up
Yeah,
there, we'll kill them, and we'll get the power on. I
let's
don't
attack
care.
them before they attack us, which is
The
exactly what Koba wants to do.
Hmm.
the response in the car that Jason Clark is describing his first interaction where he puts this gun down and apologizes to Caesar's group and they all scream at him to go away. Like his reaction is they were amazing. They were magnificent, right? He's
Yeah.
so in awe of what nature he thinks has produced, evolution, whatever. Again, we don't really
Hmm.
know to what degree I guess these people in their day-to-day lives know about the simian flu. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, the other responses being so combative. The one thing I guess I wish out of the writing is that for the Jason Clark character to constantly just be coming with fealty of just like, I just want to talk to him. Oh, I'm so sorry, Caesar. Oh, this and this and that. And he really never brings anything to the table of like equal terms or grounds to be like, well, you do this and I can provide you this because I'm a human and I can do things you can't do. Instead,
Right.
the one scene we get is when he kind of stumbles upon Cornelia being
Hmm.
dying later, and just through happenstance being like, "Well, my wife can actually fix that." She was like a nurse. Or whatever.
Yeah,
How do you
Yeah.
trust me? It's
we
like,
have
well, that
medicine.
he's got lucky.
Yeah. There could have
Yeah,
been
I mean, I guess
exchange
they could
of.
make a deal where, the humans are providing medicine to the apes and like doctor services and stuff. That could help them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Literature. You want some
Oh, see, Mike,
books?
I would have loved the deal with the devil that he is selling his culture out of like almost like
Hmm.
what we get with Proxima Caesar 2 films from now of I will teach you. Like that is what I can bring to the table since you're such a primitive
Yeah.
culture.
And we saw in Battle for the Planet of the Apes that the humans were integrated with the apes in a degree. They didn't have the same. They were still a lower class. Technically, they were
Yeah.
being kept in check. But
Right.
the teacher was a human in that situation.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, Caesar and Malcolm, they both have an idea that maybe they can live in harmony side by side. But it's just a shame that all it takes is like one bad ape and one bad human to just fuck everything up for everybody.
Ain't that the
Right.
truth?
Because that
And
guy
that's
who,
kind of
yeah,
the
the
moral of
parable.
the story.
And there's a little bit of like, um, kind of showing monolithic society and the concept of the other being a danger with all the characters that are bad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they are apes, they're less than me. And then even Caesar thinks humans are less than us. So there's this little bit of
Right.
like, you know,
Yeah.
But they're
kind of viewing
they're
the other as
acting out
less
of
than.
fear of fear of the other and not wanting like the idea of like a preemptive
Right.
strike where basically both Koba and Dreyfus are both like we need to kill them before they kill us because obviously that's what they're going to do, and like that's so weird that their reaction is that where other people their reaction is like no, let's work together. It's just how do you react to this other.
Right. It's a commentary on like society and civilization. Like we should look across the aisle with the goal of understanding and learning, not like, oh, I'm scared of this different thing. So like it's
Yeah.
you doing
Never
that
have.
theme, that's like a Twilight Zone or something. Um, but Caesar
Yeah.
agrees to let the humans try to get the power on. Koba doesn't like it, but he's like, all right, man, you're my king. But Koba's really pissed off about it, but they're going to start working with the humans to let him turn on the power.
While they're
Yeah.
having this debate, I did watch the trailer for this film because I had a feeling in my mind that this was the primary trailer, and I was right. We do have one of the workers who's just explained to everybody, like, don't you see? The thing about apes is they don't need heat. They don't need power. They got everything they need just because they're apes. And he gives this speech where you almost want to be like, okay, well, you can't come around here anymore. You actually can't be around the apes anymore, buddy.
Yeah.
Like literally, Malcolm's crew, and I assume he was an engineer or something, is like an electrician, a construction person. These other people.
Right.
But he basically brings two people who are like, well, the thing about me is I'll never trust apes. You're like,
Yeah.
well,
Very probably.
Yeah, well, there's this one, the one guy in his crew that is the one that shoots Ash in the
Yeah.
beginning, and then
Mhm.
he's still, you know what? Let's bring this guy back, and he secretly hides a gun in his toolbox and just fucks
Yeah.
everything up.
because the deal
Um,
Caesar makes is you may have this power in exchange, no guns.
Yeah,
Right. That's right. And yeah, I hate this guy. They make a throwaway line like, "Oh, he worked for the water department. We have to bring him." But I would be
Well,
like,
that's right. That's
after
what
the
it is.
first time, I'd be like, "Listen, motherfucker, don't be
yeah, this
starting
guy's got to
shit.
stay at home.
You're gonna need to write down what I have to do because you actually can't be around these apes.
I'm checking all of your
Right.
bags before we leave. I don't fucking trust you, and I'm putting a guy to guard you because you're a piece of shit. If we need you to come, I'm keeping you under close watch." Yeah, this guy ruins it all.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the apes, after this meeting with the small group of humans, the apes all do ride into town and have a confrontation with
That's
the
right.
colony and Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Riding on horseback, very intimidating.
Show of
And they're like,
force.
Yeah.
but basically, Caesar's like, I don't, apes don't want war, but we will fight if we have to. Like, we're not going to be threatened by you.
Gary
So,
Oldman says that's way more than 80, right?
Exactly.
Is that he just thought there was that few, and you're like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they do roll them all out. Because I forgot. Yeah, he sends Koba to scout and find out where the humans are. And then I wanted to also briefly talk about when Jason Clarke goes back on his own. He's like, look, I got to talk to him. Otherwise, Dreyfus is going to kill him. So it's just so scary. Like, they have the balls to do that. Like, he just walks in, and when all the apes are surrounding him and they keep pushing him down, I'm like, damn,
when they're pulling him, carrying him
Yeah.
around,
Yeah.
and looking down at him, it is like, oh, their little hands. Oh no, get off!
Yeah.
destroy you. Yeah.
And Jason Clarke, like from his first meeting of Caesar, he notices like, oh, Caesar's different. Like he's such a great leader. If I can get him to trust me, then the rest of the apes will follow. But he never gives up on like wanting to work with Caesar because he just it seems like he just admires him so much from like his first meeting. He's just like,
No, yeah.
I love you, Caesar. I'll follow you.
Caesar is a
anywhere.
good leader because his prime directive seems to have been, let's all fuck as much as we can, because every major character has a kid in this movie.
That's
Yeah,
right.
well, they're trying to start a family and start a tribe.
It's been 10 years. Get me more apes.
We need more than 80.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Please. But even the way they started, like he's on that rock and he looks so like commanding and powerful, and the gorilla keeps pushing, like, you will kneel down. That's Caesar,
Yes.
dude. Like the way they kind of reinforce
dude.
that is great.
Yeah.
And Koba's got the spear right
A
over his
suffocating
back. Just
gesture.
say the
Yes.
word. Say the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah,
boss.
Koba looks like a badass, man.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
the makeup too in the beginning, but yeah.
But let's talk for just a second about the human cast. What I think is interesting about these movies is that, like, I call it the Caesar trilogy because they're all starring the same ape characters, but the
Mhm.
humans keep changing. So it's like the humans are the supporting characters of these movies because they just keep, like, Jason Clarke's not going to be in the next movie, right?
Right.
So
No,
that's just so
and
interesting.
biggest human character that I can remember from the next one is the antagonist, right? There's not really
Yeah.
sort of a good human character.
Woody Harrelson
Oh,
as
there's the
the sort of
girl.
Gary Oldman type
It's sort of the
character.
Colonel Kurtz. I mean, he's going
Yeah.
full
Mhm.
apocalypse now. He's just
Yeah.
like the ape,
Right.
the apes.
I might have a Easter egg
Oh.
for that at the end of the episode, by the way.
Okay.
They get
Nice.
Nova, the girl who can't talk.
Right. No,
So
of
let's
course.
talk about. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that character, and of course we'll get another Nova. We get a lot of Novas here in these next two movies.
We
but,
name them all
yes.
Nova. We don't know why. Yeah.
Yes, what a comment.
I love it.
We'll talk about it.
We'll get there, yeah.
Jacob said, let's talk about the human cast. So Jason Clarke, who we've talked about before, is in the worst Terminator film.
Yes.
He's in Genesis, a
Mhm.
movie we like, but he's giving a pretty bad performance, I'd argue, in that. He's really never blown me away.
yeah.
What is this guy's big thing? Zero Dark 30, I think, was his
He's-
breakout.
To me,
I
it's like
know.
he's a guy that you cast when you need like the most generic white guy that you can possibly get.
Yeah.
You get Jason Clarke, and you can't even, if you saw him in public, you wouldn't think, oh, that's like a famous actor or something, because he, like, even his name recognition. I think if I asked, a normie, do you know an actor named Jason Clarke? They'd be like,
They
no, I
would
have
say
no
no.
idea who you're talking
Now,
Oh my
Jacob,
gosh.
he was in Oppenheimer. That was a pretty big role this year. I want to bring up that I keep saying I hate this guy. There is one performance I love him in, and I think you know what I'm going to say right now. Of course, Gary West on the Lakers show that I used
That's
to love.
right. That's right.
Where he
Where
plays
yes.
maybe the most wrong performance of all time. People say about
Well,
that guy. He's such a jackass.
I don't know.
And you're for like, that guy was great. We all loved him.
I think it's
Wow.
here's the funny thing. I think it's a pretty faithful performance. It's
Yeah.
that Jerry West himself didn't like it because that's not how he saw himself. So basically,
Right.
this show came out. The real Jerry West, who's like 90 years old, is like basically wanting to sue this show because he's like, that's not me at all. Like they're it's sort of they're assassinating my character kind of thing, because he's just. And like I actually like his performance in that Lakers show as well, because
I think
the whole
it's
point, Jerry
incredible.
West, he cares so much about winning and building a winning team, but he's just he's dropping F-bombs and like getting basically has anger problems, but it's all because of his love of the Lakers and
Completely.
wanting to build a winning team.
And Mike, he's playing a character who is the model of the NBA logo. The silhouette of a basketball player that
Yes.
you use is
Jerry
based
West, the
on
Laker
Jerry
great from
West.
the 60s.
Wow.
And he was driven because when he was on the team as a player, he was the best player in the NBA for like a long time.
Yeah.
But the Lakers, they won one championship. They made it to like 6, and he only won once. And he actually won MVP of the NBA Finals in a game that the Lakers lost, like a series that the Lakers lost. So he was on the losing
Dang.
team, and he was named MVP. That's how
People are
good.
like, it is undeniable that you are still like one of the best players of all
Yeah.
time. He's
Wow.
gained a lot of weight as an actor, and it's kind of
Mm.
shifted him into more asshole roles, opposed to he kind of just played like to steal from the Blank Check podcast, a guy who would get cucked. Like he was primarily just a guy who would like lose his love interest, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
like in the Matthew McConaughey fishing movie.
Yes.
You ever seen that? Great movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Great twist in that movie. I'm
No,
not going to
it's
reveal
not.
it now.
The craziest.
It's the
story. I
insanest,
cannot remember
most
the title
insane
of it.
twist you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's about Matthew McConaughey as a fisherman, and Jason Clarke plays a rich guy
Trying
whose
to
wife
catch a fish.
cheats on him with Matthew McConaughey.
Justice, Mike. A fish named
Yeah.
Justice.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah,
He's
in that
kinda
Lakers show, like
generic,
Mhm.
Sorry.
yeah, he's generic. Like he was the perfect fit for that role in the Lakers show, and I always just saw that role as like, yeah, he's like an asshole with a heart of gold, and so I don't know why the real Jerry
Hmm.
West is so upset about it. I kind of liked him in that role, but yeah, generally he's playing generic white guy number one.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
they
don't know,
cast him because he has blue eyes, and I'm not joking. Like it's like it's a reference. Yeah.
I could see that, honestly. I don't know. I don't think he has any other history with Matt Reeves. I don't believe he was on Felicity.
I didn't see that. Pet Cemetery, and he was
Yep.
Zero Dark 30. So yeah.
He's bad
Zero
in
Dark
Pet
30.
Sematary. So, and his son, of course, Cody Smith McPhee, who Jacob, I thought you were going to bring up Power of the Dog earlier, which is really the thing
or
that's kind of
he's
reshaped it for me.
what?
He's
Elvis?
what?
He's
The
what?
funniest moment in recent cinema. But Mike, of course, young Nightcrawler in these sort of prequel X-Men films.
I mean, you would have been recognized him. Yeah, I get it
Yeah.
now.
Was a kid
Um,
actor, has sort of transitioned into young adult roles where he's in these prestige movies, like The Power of the Dog. So interesting career because he's sort of a unique looking person. He's not like a traditionally handsome leading man or something, but he's made the transition from kid actor to young
Yeah.
adult actor pretty well, I guess.
He looks like a Tim Burton drawing.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
head is mostly eyes, and he's very wilty and thin and reed-like.
Yes, he's very thin, and he was playing a lot of like the sort of introverted, artsy kid as a kid who's like kind of a didn't have any friends or whatever, and just stuck to himself kind of role. And that's kind of what he plays in Let Me In, where he befriends a girl who turns out to be a vampire, played by Chloe Grace Moretz.
Well, it's kind of
yeah.
what he does in this, in that he befriends something that turns out to be a chimpanzee.
At an orangutan.
Yeah.
He's a little artsy boy here too. He's got his sketchbook and the drawing.
Yeah,
he
he's
leaves his bag
drawing.
and the apes are looking at his drawings. It's like kind of showing his events. And I guess this is Malcolm's biological son, but then his mother died to the.
Is that brought up? Because it's on the Wikipedia that Carrie Russell's the stepmom, and
It's brought up
there's
around
some
the fire.
references to that. From what I can gather, I think what happened was because it's like 1 in 500 is genetically immune to the simian flu. Yeah. So it seems like Carrie Russell and Jason Clarke met after the pandemic, and they sort of had lost the rest of their family to the simian flu, and they sort of got in a relationship after that. But it is interesting that like you wouldn't think that two members of the same family, like what are the odds they would both? I guess maybe because it's genetic, they have something.
I in fact would think that that's how it would work. Is that just certain lineages would be fine, and the rest of us would be like, oh no.
Yeah, so whatever it
I hope
was,
I would survive.
It was passed down from Jason Clarke, and the mother didn't have it. Yeah,
right. But did they have other kids that died, or was it just?
I don't know that. There was a comic book though. I think it was just a family of 3, but the son was kidnapped at one point, and then they had to go and do a Liam Neeson to get him back. The mom, like they both did, and then it turns out it was like the CDC was hiring people to kidnap people so they could do more vaccine tests.
That's super Last of Us.
Yeah, that's really scary.
That's like
anyway,
very Last of Us coded.
Yeah, so that's in a comic book. I don't know if it's canon.
And kill all the surgeons before they...
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't say that.
And
he's
then,
immune. We can make a
he's my boy.
Vaccine from him, but he's going to die in the process, right?
My special boy.
No, the whole world's going to burn. Forget about it.
Yeah.
And then Carrie Russell worked at the CDC.
He was poisoning everyone.
That's right.
In a comic, Carrie Russell's trapped in the CDC during a riot, and one of the apes lets her out because it knows the passcode. She gets helped out by a little smart ape.
She already likes the apes.
Again, I don't think. Yeah.
Thanks, Gingers.
Thanks, Mojo. Yeah. So I don't know if that's
Mojo.
canon. But,
thanks, Mr. Mojo.
Yeah. Thanks, Georgie.
But yeah, Carrie Russell, Jason Clarke, Cody Smith McPhee, those are like the main humans, I guess. Then you have Gary Oldman. You have some other minor humans.
Let's just because we're still doing the performance wrap up, we said it. Obviously, he's the star of this, but let's give him his due. Andy Serkis, who is an actor I think we have talked about maybe more than any other actor, certainly up there. We've done the Batman film, as I stated. We've done the entire Hobbit, Lord of the Rings sixology. Is there anything else? I feel like he's
Lord of the Rings. Oh yeah. Obviously, Andor is a big role for him, where he's playing a normal, like his normal looking self instead of a CG creation, which you don't see too often.
Yeah,
13 going on 30 with Judy Greer, who's an ape in this.
Of course, what a reunion, Mike.
Yeah,
what
incredible.
A reunion.
It's interesting because I don't remember seeing him in that many regular human roles until recently. But yeah, he was obviously in the Batman.
In Black Panther.
Yeah.
I think he was.
Yeah, and he was the cook in King Kong as himself, and then also King Kong. So
yeah, we'll get there.
That's right.
That's how much we love him. We're adding another one because of him.
Yes, just for him.
Yeah. And he directed that Lion King, or no, the Jungle Book, right? He
Well,
directed a version of it.
and now you're reminding me that, of course, we covered another film he directed, Jacob. Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Oh,
That's
oh,
right. He directed Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. That's right. He directed Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle, which came out like the same
Right.
year
Wow.
as the live
Jon
Jungle Book
Favreau.
from Disney, and that was kind of the two competing Jungle Book stories that
Oh,
year.
right. And he's directing like another Lord of the Rings thing now. Like a
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
a actual Smeagol film.
movie. I don't know if I
right?
want it, but stay in your lane, I guess. He has his own
Gollum,
motion
the
capture
Lord of the Rings
company.
story. Yeah.
So they were like hired to do some of the casting and stuff for this. So he has leaned into the motion capture side, but he does good when he's
Oh,
regular human
how
role
about
too.
and how about this? I was just looking at his movie Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle,
Mm-hmm.
and guess who's in it? We have Frida Pinto.
Whoa.
So maybe he met her on Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
What
Was
a
like, you want to be in my
lifeline.
Jungle Book movie?
Yeah,
He's
seriously.
trying
You're
to keep
drowning.
her alive. That's
And
incredible.
Matthew Rhys is also in that movie, who's, like we said, Kerry Russell's husband. So it's all
Right.
tied
Well,
together.
here's a joke I've been sitting on. You know, who knew that Caesar this whole time was actually a circus ape? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's good. Don't worry. So was Milo, the monk. You know, he was with Ricardo Montalban. So I guess he always was a circus ape, that Caesar. Dang, it's
That's
not
right.
news. Hey, we lost power from the dam. So let's take a break for a second. I got to go talk to Caesar, and we'll be right back after this.
We're back here on Normies Like Us. We're going ape crazy.
We got the dam working again.
Yeah. Koba
The
was
gas
giving me
station
some
lights
side
are
eye,
on.
but we were able to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, using his milky eye to do it too.
They call him
Ooh.
One Eye in the book. The humans like, oh, that
Oh.
ape, One Eye, because they don't know his name.
Right. Oh, that's Koba.
Seems kind of racist.
Kind of.
He's a
you know.
bonobo. Do you guys
He is a
like Toby
bonobo.
Kebbell? There's another actor to talk about. I love his film
Yeah.
Rock and Rolla, where he plays the title Rock and Rolla, but otherwise, pretty much a horrible fucking career. He's one of
Fantastic Four, the
he's one of
best movie.
few maniacs to play the character Doctor Doom, along with Julian
Whoa.
McMahon in those original movies.
And Robert
But,
Downey
boy,
Jr.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Soon to be. I've
yeah.
not really seen any of his other work, but he is incredible in this. Like, Jacob said, Koba's probably one of the most interesting characters of the decade. Like, it's crazy to be
Yeah.
like, what a great nuanced character when it's just an ape. Like, it's a great foil for Caesar. Andy Serkis is leading, but this is a great, dance partner. Like, it's a great performance.
Yeah, and he's sort of
being a silly Billy and
Yeah.
steals those guys' guns.
Oh, that's a great
so
scene.
fucking
I love
good.
And
that.
that's from his show business training when he was on TV. That's why he knows how to be like
Yeah.
a dumb idiot.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he's so evil though, because he has some good points and he has like a tragic backstory, but it's like he just takes it too far, man. Like, don't be so evil, and then we could all get along, you know?
They said that as the Simian Flu, whatever 113 ALZ 113, as it like kind of was developing his brain and his intelligence was growing, it made his memories more vivid. So it like made the PTSD worse as like he gets smarter. It's kind of what the lore is. So
Well, yeah, it says in that one scene, "I'm not sick anymore."
that's right. I'm not sick in the head
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Rocket,
but-
I'm not sick anymore. Where's Caesar?
But yeah, that scene where he approaches those two guys is so good. And he takes their gun and just fucking murks them.
Yeah, and it's like a two-parter because at first he goes there because he still doesn't trust the humans, so he's like, I'm gonna see what they're up to. He sees they're
Yeah, he's going to
stockpiling all
scout
these
out.
weapons, and he's like,
Yeah.
plays dumb, blows a raspberry, and then
Humans have many guns, enough to
Right.
kill
Get outta here.
all apes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's this little turn that like a switch to like be a dumb idiot, and then he looks at the camera, and it's
Yeah.
immediately this sinister,
But he really, I mean, he just goes so far as to like he's questioning Caesar, and then when he takes over for Caesar, he's like, now we're doing things Koba's way, and I don't care if you like it or not.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
He gives, I mean, it's a little bit of spoiler jumping ahead, but he gives Blue Eyes a gun. He's like, all right, we're going to go do some human genociding. Let's go.
Yeah, and we get a good
Yeah.
explanation of his backstory when Blue Eyes says to his father, "Well, maybe Koba's right," and all through sign language. And Caesar rolls his eyes. It's like, Koba, the thing about Koba is like he hates humans because they were bad to him one time, which is kind of, I mean, that's maybe Caesar's flaw is that he's really overlooking that not everybody had the upbringing that he did.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of that nature versus nurture because Caesar obviously was raised by a good human, and so he had experience with humans that pretty much no other apes have had. And yeah, a lot of apes have had bad experiences being in captivity or being tested and things. So it makes sense that they don't have the same affection for humans that Caesar does, and that's
Or
definitely his
you
weakness.
have no experience with them whatsoever, and it's just like a whole new thing that's like, I don't know what this is about. It's a little bit scary, kind of like the humans who didn't know there were smart apes, you know? So it's
Yeah.
Caesar is maybe being a little too broad in applying his own ideology onto his population, which is a thing. And then Koba, he's willing to do like the first ape false flag attack ever. You know, it's crazy.
Yes. Yes.
So he's conniving.
Absolutely.
He knows how, like, he is smart.
His plot is very
Crazy.
sinister.
It's weird that you see him reading a book called 9/11 was an inside job, and he's like getting ideas, obviously.
Yeah. But his plan is not, he could have just gone to Caesar and been like, hey, look, they've got a bunch of guns and stuff, and like try to talk him into it. Well, I guess he did do that at first. They get in a big fight.
Yeah.
Caesar lets him live because ape shall not kill ape, which Caesar later breaks the first rule of ape law and does try to kill Caesar.
He's not the first. We'll get to that. But yeah, he seems so hurt in that moment when Caesar beats him up and then like basically strips him of all of his social currency in the society. Like, we don't trust you anymore. I almost killed you. He looks like so betrayed. He's like, you're my guy, Caesar. He did say Caesar likes humans more than his sons. You're gonna catch hands for that. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's kind of Caesar's big flaw, is that he lets him live, or he lets him go free, when he should have maybe, and that's maybe him wanting to be a peaceful leader, but he doesn't see the threat of Koba for what it really is and underestimates his sinisterness and stuff. And if he would have just killed Koba there, like none of the bad stuff would have happened, right?
The Democrats saying, well, we don't need to lock Donald Trump up. We can just beat him in a fair election.
Exactly.
The hubris.
Right.
They allude to kind of Koba's ambitions too, really subtly. Again, it's a monkey movie, but when he goes to scout out the stuff and he sees the building where the humans are staying in, like he looks up and you see the skyscrapers and he looks to the top of the building, alluding to like this ambition of getting to the heights. But then, he sees a ton of guns. He doesn't get to tell Caesar, so now he's like, I didn't tell Caesar, you're not going to tell Caesar. Like, I'm cooking this plan up, but to show his ability to like lie, plant the gun, to frame the humans, like it's an intelligent plan, to like.
Do you think in the future tellings there'll be like a cult of like Koba followers, like like we worship the book of Koba. Caesar is a false god.
That would be funny. Yeah. I mean, it is fascinating. I mean, we'll talk about kingdom and stuff, but the way that even Caesar's teachings kind of can be manipulated by different people, or by different apes in hundreds of years in the future.
Where
it's like no one. It's it's similar to like, oh, you can take the teachings of Jesus and warp them to fit your view however you want, right? To a certain degree. So it's like you have like the Proximus Caesar character, the antagonist in Kingdom, who's like, no, this is what Caesar would have wanted.
Yeah.
Proximus Koba.
As opposed to
so we need a Koba. We need a Koba cult in the next movie for sure.
But there's there's like a hubris or a naivete to Caesar, because he's like, oh, apes, we're better than humans. We don't kill each other, and that's why he lets Koba live, and that's the fatal flaw. It's like every society can have bad apples. It's about how do we navigate that. That's what a leader needs to figure out.
Here's my pitch. Koba had a kid that we never saw in this one, who watched his father die at the hands of Caesar, and has like for hundreds of years been like poisoning apes against the teachings of Caesar.
Sure.
I like it.
I think that would be really cool.
Dang, the Koba cult. Yeah.
The Church of Koba, the Koba cult. I like that.
Yeah, I like it too, because this character is incredible. Like,
one
of the best villains. So good.
And again, his plan is very smart, but it's also like he's willing to sacrifice a lot of apes and a lot of like the ape community to get what he wants, where he sets fire to their home, shoots Caesar, obviously, and he's willing to go to war where they take heavy casualties just to,
Yeah.
overpower the humans. But to him, it's worth it.
Well, this is like, I want power, but it's also kind of, again, hurt people hurt people. Like, he can't let go of his trauma to the degree where he's willing to sacrifice other apes to get that catharsis,
Yeah.
even his
Yeah.
own friend. It's very complex, honestly.
Yeah.
But we get the bit.
Uh,
I mean, did we jump too far ahead, or is it kind of like that's
No,
pretty bad.
we skipped over him, like, or I guess maybe you were about to say it, of him being hurt, and then Caesar has to get rehabilitated. Where does he do it? His childhood home, of course.
That's right.
Right. We skipped over to the. Obviously, there's a lot of dam stuff. They get the dam working.
There's a
they have
cave
a nice
in, the
little-
apes help him out. There's a little bit of dam stuff. Yeah.
It's sort of showing, it's building the trust between Caesar and Malcolm and his family. And I just love the kind of small moments where, like, when they're outside the gas station, they start playing a song on the radio, and the apes are just like, wait, what is music? I'm just learning about this for the first time, basically. And you can kind of see them, like, understanding, like, there's
cultural
more to, like,
exchange.
humans have more that they could teach us that we don't know about,
culture.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then we get, with Dreyfus, the power's back on, and you can finally turn on his iPad and see the photos of his kids for the first time,
Right.
It's like a classic beat, but it's also like, have hard copies of stuff, people. Like, maybe he hasn't been able to turn that on in 10 years, right? Like, that's kind of like a big moment for his character, for the screen time he does get.
But yeah, and then so Koba sort of enacts his false flag plan.
He storms the Capitol.
Storms the Capitol. He shoots Caesar, and then blames it on the humans. He sets fire to the ape home, and then he says, "Let's go to war."
He speaks when he turns to Malcolm and his family and says, "Run."
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, Maurice, right?
Maurice is like, "Yo, you
Run.
probably shouldn't be here right now." Yeah.
And Maurice, I believe, is played by a woman, an actress who does the motion capture for him, but is actually a male character, obviously.
Wow.
And she wears 10-pound weights on her arms to, like, get the
What?
on her forearms to kind of get that vibe.
Yeah.
She was in the first movie as well as Maurice.
We have some moments with Maurice and little Cody Smith McPhee kind of like bonding and stuff. That's fun too.
They're looking at a comic book together, and it's like, look at this.
Yeah.
Or, again, cultural exchange.
Books. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Small moments are good too. But they do Ninja Turtles. But they find Caesars and they go to the farmhouse and they draw pictures.
They do an Ninja Turtles.
Right. I guess Caesar tells them the address to go to.
Take me to 713 Cherry Lane.
Yes.
What? No, we're not doing
Franco.
that.
Yeah.
It's in deep.
Yeah, I guess so.
But that's a nice little. I love when it like sort of pans up and you see the window in the house, and it's like, oh yeah, the window. We love it.
Yep. It's so crazy when he picks up a picture of his old family and he points to the old man and signs "not sick anymore."
Yep.
Not alive anymore.
Charles. Oh, no. Neither is.
What do you mean by this, Caesar?
Franco. I guess you're right. This is kind of a longer segment because we get Blue Eyes eventually. Like Malcolm goes to get medicine and comes across Blue Eyes.
Yeah, he goes back. Yeah, he sneaks back to get medicine.
And then Blue Eyes
Blue
Eyes. Yeah. For
he
humanity.
is. I guess that's important too. During the Capitol riot, Blue Eyes is very like, whoa! I thought Koba was.
He's having
cool,
some
but
doubt.
This is kind of a lot. Yeah.
More we had it. So
why am I wearing this shaman helmet? This doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's my?
So the apes attack. There's a big battle, and the apes pretty much easily overpower the humans.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a push at first, but they eventually.
They take a lot of casualties for sure, and these battle scenes are very spectacular and impressive, but they do just make me sad because I'm like, there's good people on both sides, and just like this is needless violence,
That's what this movie does well. Is you would expect a boring one. It would do the Avatar, like, oh, humans are evil, and Malcolm's going to fight against the humans on the ape side. But it's both sides are kind kind of innocent. It's
there's no bad side. There's just bad people on each side that are manipulating things. Yeah. But it's just so sad seeing all these apes get gunned down and stuff.
But
they do overpower.
Is pretty incredible. I'm just a couple of moments.
Yeah.
That 360
Oh,
tank
yeah.
shot is awesome, and I mean, seeing
Yep.
Koba with 2 machine guns on a horse is objectively
Well,
cool.
it's
He is a
one of
badass. Like,
the
he seems
hardest
like it.
images that have ever gone in history is Koba with his crazy face screaming as he
Dual
fires 2
wielding.
machine guns into the air riding a horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
But
like
we know already
LMGs
how-
too. You can't hold them if you're a human. They're too heavy. Like he's going pretty
No.
crazy.
Right.
Yes.
Because apes are so ripped. But we
Yep.
do see how he doesn't really care about other apes that much. Like he steals
No.
a horse from another ape and just like throws him off. It's like he
Mhm.
doesn't give a shit about the basic soldier apes. And then there's this scene where with Ash, with Blue Eyes and Ash, where he's like, kill these unarmed humans to Ash, and he gives him the gun, and Ash is like, nah, this is not what Caesar would want. And then fucking Koba, what does he do? Throws him off a balcony, kills him. He kills Ash.
First
little
ape
boy.
to kill ape. Like
Ape
directly.
killed ape.
He got a lot
Yeah.
killed in the fight, but that's the first ape murder. And yeah.
And
I
Blue Eyes
feel
is like
bad for
really
Ash.
like, what the fuck is going on?
Because
Yeah.
Ash got
Yeah.
shot by the bad human and then killed by the bad ape.
Yeah. Ash kind of has
And
had a
maybe
bad life.
homage
Bit the dust.
to battle.
Hmm.
Isn't that we get another just little guy getting thrown to
Falling
death?
from a
Yeah,
height?
they're always like falling. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And maybe
Yeah.
the fires in the street is like conquest when they're doing the riot. When they're doing the riot in the
Yeah.
facility.
But one thing I'll say is like Rocket, I wish Rocket had more of a character in this movie, because I feel like Rocket was Ash's dad, right? And we never get a scene of like, oh, they killed Ash and him reacting to that.
Yeah, he gets the moment after he's shot in the beginning where he's really trying to talk to Caesar and like, well, you got to do something about this. But it's strange that we don't get this payoff here. And I was
Yeah.
also praying, why wouldn't he name his son Cookie? It should be Rocket and Cookie.
Yes.
Why Cookie Rocket? 'Cause he
Love
loves
Cookie
cookies so
Rocket.
You're
much.
my son.
That's
But
so
even with
good.
Caesar's inner crew, like Maurice gets more characterization than Rocket does. Rocket's just
Oh,
kind of there. It's
absolutely.
like you're
Yeah.
kind of like, you're supposed to be Caesar's right hand man. Like he should have more of a character, I feel like. So maybe
Yeah.
just they had to sacrifice something for the runtime. But
I can't remember if
Yeah.
it was in the script or they shot it. There was supposedly a scene when Rocket speaks. I don't know in what capacity. Maybe he gives a eulogy for Ash at the ape funeral.
Ash
Yeah.
loved cookies. All right. Well,
Jeez.
but obviously, and then Koba's locking up all of Caesar's like closest
Yeah.
people. 'Cause
This
he's
is, yeah.
yeah,
Well, he's locking up the
Insane.
humans too. He's in power for like 2 or 3 days. And
yeah.
like, he doesn't know what human needs are. Like I can imagine the conditions in those cages. Like no one's got
Oh,
food,
yeah.
no one's got water. There's
Oh,
shit
yeah.
everywhere. Like that, a terrifying 3 days for the humans.
You will know life in cage. Because
Mhm.
he was raised in a cage, so now he wants to put the humans in the cage to show them what it's like.
great.
Hurt people, hurt
Um,
people.
Then you find that he's putting Maurice and Rocket and all these people, he's locking them up too because they're too close to Caesar. It's like he's really trying to consolidate his power as, ape dictator.
It's like, who's in your cabinet? We're gonna get them all. Everybody in Caesar's cabinet.
Only
we're
the
locking
Koba
them up.
loyalists.
Keep
Yeah.
saying Rocket's emails means he should be locked up, and I'm like, just give it a rest, Koba.
It's like, where is Maurice? Where is Blue Eye's laptop?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and then he just straight up murders Ash in cold blood. All the other apes see it, and they're like, "Okay, well, I guess this is what we do now."
All right, we'll
and-
listen to you.
And what's interesting, Caesar says something that really stuck with me, that ape always go to strongest branch. So he knows like they're going to follow the strongest leader. So when he's recovering from his bullet wound, he's like, I can't confront Koba yet because I'm too weak. Like they're not going to respect me unless I'm able to like overpower
Basically
him.
becomes fucking Dark Knight Rises. Like Bruce Wayne working out to
I was
defeat
born in the
Bane
darkness.
again. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, you can't face him again until I'm strong. And you're like, all right, Caesar, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Ape go to strongest branch.
yeah. And we get our one cameo of Will Rodman in the videotape that Malcolm kind of overhears, who's in the
That's
attic.
right.
Like, oh, my buddy,
Teach him a little sign language.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
wonder what happened to Will Rodman. Oh, he died of Simian Flu.
At least John Lithgow got super sick too and died.
Well, he died in the movie, remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember. He gets
I'm
killed. Who
I'm
does he
sick
get killed
again.
by? He doesn't die.
He does die. There's a scene where they come back from his funeral, remember?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that. Oh,
I think it's like after they take Caesar away, and then
Yeah.
so he's like, oh, I can't lose them both, James
Yeah.
Franco, and
that's right.
Yeah.
because he's like, it's not, I'm sick again. It's not working.
I'm sick again.
I'm
Now we
more
gotta do
sick than I ever
AOV
was.
1-1-3.
Double sick.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's kind of in that moment. I think for Caesar, he's like, damn. Like, is he realizing his naivety? Like, this is why I thought like we could coexist. I didn't think that we
No.
would have bad apples. Now I have Koba going crazy. Like, damn, you know.
Yeah. Caesar always thought apes better than humans. Now I see how similar we are.
Mm-hmm. And like that's kind of the whole theme right there. And like
I
as
do
a
like
leader,
when
he needs
he's
to learn that. It's a hard lesson.
Jason Clark's asking, he sees like Will Rodman in a picture, and he's like, "Who was that?" And he's like, "A good man like you." Do you think Malcolm was like so happy when he said that? Like, oh, Caesar thinks I'm a
Seriously,
good man.
What the fuck is this ape talking about? This is your dad?
Yeah, right.
You were raised here? This is like a house. This is like a normal suburb. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Like he has no idea how central Caesar really is to all of this. He doesn't know that Caesar was a revolutionary and that his dad
No.
made
Right.
the Simian Flu. He's just like, this is
Caesar's
just a guy.
mom was like patient zero, basically.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
perfect score. But so to Jason Clark, it's just like this dude lived in a house. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. He just sees like a video, but why did they go back to this house? Like, is there a reason? Is there like some special medicine?
Go get Caesar's Bowflex. Caesar must pound out reps till he's strong again.
Well, you had those
Oh,
ropes in the attic you
shit.
can swing around on.
Yeah. Caesar
right.
wants to look out his round window again.
Caesar needs his window.
That's
We
right.
came all the way here for your window. I don't give a shit about
Well, they
this.
needed to be somewhere where nobody would come looking. You know, it's
Yeah.
off grid, but
Yeah.
sentimental
Guess that's
hideout.
Just
Makes sense.
what is the it's not like Kovac can be like, fly my drones, find Caesar. It's like their network is basically if you go one town over, Kovac's
Yeah.
like, shit, he's gone forever.
And there's probably a
That's
million
true.
abandoned houses in San
Yeah.
Francisco at this point.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
thematically he's got to go back
But he
to
just
his
knows where it
beginning to think
Yeah.
about,
That's right. We gotta
He wants to have some
slip in
memories.
some Franco, of course.
where did I go wrong? Where did I begin? He's like, what? He just got to
Yeah.
take a minute, I guess, before he Dark Knight.
Yeah. And then Malcolm does go back to get some medical supplies for him. That's where he runs into Blue Eyes, coincidentally. And then he's like, "Come, your father's still alive. You got to come back and talk to him."
Because yeah, Blue Eyes doesn't shoot him. You know, there's that little
Yeah.
standoff
He
moment.
makes the choice. Yeah.
Mhm. That's terrifying too. When the monkeys or apes, sorry, when the apes are running around with their guns and stuff in that building, and Jason Clark is trying to sneak, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I
would
really
not
think
be brave
that,
enough.
Apes, personally, I believe, should not have guns. I'm very anti Second Amendment for apes.
Mhm.
There's
I mean,
nothing scarier than an ape on horseback riding at you, dual wielding, assault rifles.
Have you ever seen
Yeah.
those fucking YouTube videos where they like smack a pack of cigarettes, open one up, put it in their mouth, and then like light it, and you're like, God damn, they are so close to just being us. It is
Sure.
crazy.
we need more of that in this coming movie. We need like a cigarette smoking
Yeah,
ape.
Rocket's a heavy
Yeah.
smoker.
Yeah, be good.
Why Rocket cigarette?
Maybe Koba would chill out if he just get a Nick fix. You know, it's like just stress out about it. Have a cig, bro. Just don't do a
Yeah.
genocide.
No, he needs like the lipstick that they tested on him or whatever. He needs to fully revert to being a test monkey.
True. But
Yeah.
too far gone at this point. Now he's got all of the good apes locked up.
Now I'm a god.
Yep. They do have Blue Eyes go and do a rescue mission though. They go and
Yep.
free the cabinet members that are
That's right.
hiding in their Senate offices.
Break them all out of political prison. He writes the symbol, the window symbol on
Of course.
the windshield.
Which we have seen made up of sticks and stuff in the ape village. Like that's already become kind of the symbol
Yeah.
of Caesar.
Right.
But yeah, the bus. This is a crazy
Um,
sequence. Do they kill the apes when they push the bus on them?
I think so. Yeah, they kind of
Probably.
topple it on them
That's
and they all get
probably
crushed.
enough.
Yeah. So now apes are killing apes.
On both sides. Dang it, you know.
But it's war. There's things you gotta do in war.
Yeah.
That's right. So then we get all the
Um,
allied apes at Caesar's side at Will Rodman's house. And they're gonna
Yeah,
We're gonna go do
leading
this
the
thing.
resistance. Yeah. Meanwhile, Koba's on top of this tower that they're all, the big human tower. I don't know what tower it is or whatever, but all the apes are hanging out on top of it.
All the humans are
And of
locked
course,
up.
yeah, so Malcolm runs into Dreyfus when they're down in the tunnels, and we learn that they're rigging the base of this tower with explosives, and they're
We're
just
gonna
going to
kill
try
'em
to kill all
all.
the apes.
Yep.
Going to wipe them out.
And Malcolm's like,
You're
"Whoa, dude,
crazy.
don't do that."
And he's trying,
Uh,
he's trying to say, like, you don't understand. There's a good ape and there's a bad ape. The bad ape
True.
is like
You know
responsible
Caesar?
for all of this. Caesar's the good ape. Let them duke it out, and we can have a peaceful resolution
up.
to this.
Yeah.
No, you're crazy. I'm setting these
Ape
explosives
lover.
off.
You have to
Yeah.
choose between saving this building or Caesar. Yeah, Dreyfus, are you out of your fucking mind? But yeah, he takes the gun and he's like, "Yo, don't blow up the building." And like Dreyfus is willing to kill himself and everybody in that room just because of his like ideology
Saving
of like it's
humanity.
my people versus their people, and I'm choosing my
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah, and he basically suicide bombs, and we learned that obviously his family all died, so he doesn't have that much to live for, I guess. So he thinks that this is a good cause. If I can kill all the apes and myself, I guess that's what I got to do.
Extremist views, be extreme, man. Chill out,
Yeah,
chill out. Middle
I
ground.
just wish Jason Clarke could have done a better job of explaining the whole situation and the hierarchy of the ape leadership, and Caesar is like this good ape, but
Look,
he
Caesar
doesn't
lived
want
in
to
a
hear that.
house. He knew this guy, Will Rodman. Okay, his dad
raised
had
by
Alzheimer's.
You don't understand. Yeah, there's so much you
Right.
don't understand
Oh,
that
okay, I guess.
sometimes people just need to talk about things before we resort to violence, right?
Yeah. Oh, also the
Apes
apes
and
talk.
humans.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, can we have like a peace treaty instead of killing each other? But
it was all a big
that's the way
misunderstanding.
the
All
world
right,
works.
look, Koba did a false flag. He framed humans for the murder of Caesar. You got to understand, Dreyfus. It's not his fault. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I would
he
have a
did
hard
ape
time believing that
9/11.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
story.
He was on a grassy knoll. All right. Took him
Wow.
out. But then Caesar's ascending the tower, climbing up with Blue Eyes and the squad to confront Koba in like
Yeah,
the most
and this is where we
sensational
get the
scene ever.
big confrontation.
Would you guys believe that this entire sequence is CG? Every single
Yeah,
thing?
I mean the fire,
The scaffolding?
the scaffolding,
Oh,
the
sure.
characters in it. Again,
Yeah,
the entire time that I'm watching this, I'm like,
It looks photorealistic. It's
it's
insane.
astounding. Yeah.
looks great. Yeah, they have
It's
a
a good
big fight
fight.
scene. Caesar weak, Koba weaker.
Which that line hits, but without the context of ape, it feels like a schoolyard like argument. You're stupid. You're stupider. But like when Caesar says it, you're like,
Nailed
oh
you.
fuck. Got
Right.
him. So way to
Um,
go.
yeah, and they have this big fight. Eventually, and also the bombs going off, which is causing more chaos on top of the
Shit's
tower.
collapsing. Yeah, it's going crazy.
Yeah, but it sort of ends with Koba hanging, and he's injured on his ribs, so he's like weaker than normal. He can't lift himself up. He's like hanging by a
Mhm.
thing, and then Caesar has to decide. Okay, now Ape needs to kill Ape because, well, he says that's what Koba says, right? Ape shall not kill Ape.
Ape.
And Caesar's like, Koba is not Ape.
And lets him go. Long live the kings in.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
The real Mufasa versus Scar.
No.
Reverse of the roles, but yes.
Yeah.
Koba, not ape, and drops them into the pit. And it's kind of similar to when Koba pushes the helicopter to push the CEO of medical company that was torturing him. He's a fall, an Alan Rickman Die Hard kind of imagery for both of them.
It's very, I always noticed that too. It's a callback to that helicopter moment where he turns and chooses not to help him. And in that version, in the last movie, that's when Koba comes up and pushes the helicopter off, right? So
Exactly.
fun,
and it's
interesting.
The fall from power metaphor too. Why not just do that at the same time? And the apes are now back under Caesar's rule, but things will never be the same because ape has killed ape. Yeah.
Ape has killed Ape, and humans will not forgive that Ape started the war. So Caesar knows that war is inevitable, which
That's
is
right.
just too bad.
They were able to get a signal out to another military base or something and said, "Oh, hey, we need some help over here. There's apes. Ape escape is happening."
Yeah.
So they're already on the way. So yeah, Malcolm's like,
It's
"Yo, dog,
coming.
yeah, you got to get out of here. They're coming." And then yeah, that great line, "The humans won't forgive us." So
Right. And don't you
kind of
just wish that
somber.
Malcolm and his family could just live with the apes and just be the humans that live with the apes for the rest of their
Tarzan it.
lives?
I wish they
Yeah.
did. I wish they did. Just don't say no to Aldo when you're teaching him physics.
Yeah.
No.
I just feel like Malcolm and Caesar have a real friendship going on, a bromance, you know? It's
There's a
just a
mutual
shame that they have to
respect.
leave. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because Will Rodman only respects Caesar as an equal when he finally is going to leave.
Yep. He
Right.
always
So,
saw
but
him as a
Malcolm right off
son.
the rip.
Pet.
hmm It's like, this guy's awesome. He stands on a
Yeah.
rock. His shoulders are broad. Everyone thinks he's cool. Like, this dude's sick.
He wears
Yeah.
skeleton, face paint. You're like,
Yeah.
shit,
I
that's
can't even ride a
crazy.
horse. Yeah.
He
Goes
rides a
so
horse.
hard.
Yeah, he's a good man. And yeah, same thing. He's got a kid. He's got a wife. I got a kid. I got a sort of wife. You know,
That's
Yeah.
primarily the reason they bond is they both notice that they have sons.
Primately,
You're
yeah.
like, all right, I guess so.
So basically, yeah, and that's just foreshadowing the next movie of, oh, the war is starting now, the real war.
and I think we do another bit of a time jump. We'll see when we get there. But yeah, you know, this
Yeah.
movie is
Yeah.
interestingly somber, kind of bleak on
Yeah.
the outcomes of Utopia. It's like, you know, maybe we
It
can't
is,
get along.
it's sort of, yeah, it's the, the human condition of like, oh, if all our different societies could just get along, but we can't. And because of that, we have to have these wars where, hundreds of thousands of people die for nothing, like World War One, something like that, where people are just dying in the trenches over like literally nothing.
Right.
Um,
And I think this does a good nuanced job of doing that. Like I said, it's not one side bad, one side good, and that's like the simplistic terms that they're looking at it in the beginning. That's what Caesar thinks too. Like, we're better
Yeah.
than humans.
yeah.
So to do the nuanced side of like, oh, it's just bad leadership, and
Yeah.
a lot of
And you
people
could
getting
have,
caught in the crossfire.
and you can see how like with just a couple changes, like things could have turned out better. And apes and humans could have lived in harmony, but
A big change being
that
that
can
they
never happen now.
need
Yeah.
not wipe us out with
Yeah.
virology.
Right. But fear the other. But
Yeah.
yeah. Also, one more note on the asshole guy who keeps bringing guns. I forgot that that's the moment when Caesar's like, "Yo, check out my newborn. I trust you guys." And then
Yep.
he's like gonna hit Caesar's kid because he's pulling the blanket
Yeah.
off the
That
gun. It's
fucking
like,
guy.
bro.
Back fucking guy.
And he's also
How cute is that little ape, though? Yeah.
mm-hmm.
That
No,
was
it's like,
cute.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have a gun around my newborn baby. Caesar could have like killed him in that moment, but he throws it obviously.
Yeah.
like, to
Caesar had
continue to
a
trust.
lot of restraint for the humans when he could have just gone ape shit on them, if I
Literally.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because he's a great leader. He's a great man. He's my role model. I love
Best
him.
friend.
Yeah.
my best friend. He's a great man. Yep.
I would
Exactly.
follow him I would follow him anywhere.
What's
Yep,
that necklace you're wearing? It's like a little diamond, Jacob.
Oh, it's like a
and
circle with like a
circle.
diamond in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that represent something to you? Something important?
Yeah, it's kind of like a really important religious symbol to me. So
Yeah. He's a great man. The lawgiver, if you would. But
yeah.
yeah, he has a lesson to learn about the weight of the crown. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, basically. So now we'll see where he
That's
goes
right.
as a leader in the next movie. He's got a lot to think about, a lot to learn from this, and we might have a lot to learn from the quiz when we quizzed it up, you
Ooh.
maniacs. You quizzed it all to hell, the dawn of the planet of the quiz. Right after this.
I'll try.
All right. Good luck.
That's right. Because we're back and we're talking the Dawn of the Planet of the Quiz, as Mike is
Mhm.
about to take us through some Dawn of the Planet of the Apes trivia that Jacob and I will be competing against each other with a little bit of true or false or however else you have it. And if you're watching at home, you know how we do this.
Exactly. A 1 is true, a 2 is false, and we'll be revealing them live. If you're watching on YouTube, not live on the VOD, you'll just have to believe us if you're listening. It's live for us.
We're still playing. By the time you hear this, we will still be playing.
It's a long quiz. Okay, so let me get question 1 out of the bag here. All right. Number
Remind me, do you know like who won of all the
believe you've
ape
been walking
quizzes,
away
like
with
who's
it.
won more ape quizzes, me or
It
Colin?
was pretty much a dead heat, and I need to go back and check. I'll have that data in the new year. But the
Okay.
originals, up to I think Tim Burton, it was half and half. I can't
Wow.
remember who won
Yeah, that
Rise. I
sounds
think
about
it may
right.
have been Colin. But
That
I feel
definitely,
like Colin has been winning a lot, but I might have won like last
cannot be
month.
right.
we'll find out. I'll look up the winner of Rise before we go to final thoughts after the quiz. So, all right, officially, here we go. Number one. About 80% of the movie was filmed in actual locations and sets as opposed to in a motion capture volume. 80% of the film on location are real sets. True or false? There's a lot of apes. There's a lot of apes going on here.
I'm locked in.
All right, I'm locked in.
All right. 3, 2, 1, reveal.
I'll say true.
I'm gonna say true
Oh,
as well.
nice finger. Yes, you both got it. True. Building
I
on
said
kind of
true
what
just
they
because
did. Mhm.
yeah, I thought it was very because you said it was 80%. I was like, oh, he's got a specific number. That means it's got to be true.
The specificity. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, that was kind of a Matt Reeves thing. He's like, yo, no, I want to put more outdoors. I want weather. I want like
Yeah.
texture on this thing. And they did the Golden Gate Bridge was like the first time they've really done like a
Yeah.
big scale shoot outside. So like, oh,
Sure.
now we know how to do it. Let's do that more.
And I remember you said that last month, so I was like, they probably did do a lot of location shooting.
Well, I
Yep.
think I called it out in Rise last month in our episode that I was like, well, this one's the snowy one. So I
Ah,
was wrong about that, but is the next one
The
snowy?
yes. The
more
next one
Okay.
is snowy.
Which is interesting because I was looking up like when these movies came out, all in the summer. Like this came out in July.
Oh, really?
I think the next one came out in August or something.
They are blockbusters, of course. Big
Right.
Yeah.
summer
They
movies.
feel almost like winter movies, like they can come out, around the
Yeah.
holiday season. Especially the next one, like you said, it's very snowy and cold.
Yeah.
You watch Rise in November. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
it's the slightly more temperate one.
You watch it on Thanksgiving because it's about family. You look at your grandfather. You say,
That's
"You're
right.
not sick anymore."
That's right. And you quote
I
Shakespeare.
did watch that when I was visiting my mom and
Yeah.
stepdad for Thanksgiving. I made them watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I said, "You guys are gonna love this."
Yeah.
And my mom
agreed.
said,
Kept me engaged.
"Well, I didn't fall asleep while I was watching it." I said, "That's great."
High praise, high praise.
Yeah,
Oh man.
You're
yeah,
like, that's not a guy in a costume. That's a digital ape. And your mom was like,
Right.
no, I know.
yeah, that's a real ape.
they had
Um,
like a
yeah.
million hairs each, like per
God damn.
ape freaking model. There's like a million individual hairs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I got number 2.
But it takes a
ready
long
to go.
time to render those, right? A lot of computing power too.
They have like 4 separate teams. They had like the rooftop scene, they had the forest scene, because they're comping the actors into. They had to film the movie twice, just like last time. One blank pass and one with the actor pass. It's the whole
Right.
thing. So there's like 4 teams working on
It-
different sequences.
Yeah,
It takes forever, Jacob, but then, of course, I have my pet theory that this company sold all these models to television because it seemed like for a while there, The Flash had Gorilla Grodd popping up in
Yes.
every other episode. They would go to Ape City. And then Mike, the fucking Umbrella Academy, where they're like, and of course, our butler is a talking monkey or bonobo or whatever. And you're like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
what is
True,
this?
true.
yeah.
Chimpanzee
Well, they're
model, yeah.
primates. They're our closest relative in the animal kingdom, so maybe they're most easy to make for CG models
think
because they're
so.
so human-like.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, let's number 2. Let's do this thing.
Let's
Judy
do it.
Greer, who plays Cornelia, auditioned for the role due to her time working with Andy Serkis in 13 going on 30. True or false?
Mm,
Okay,
Mhm,
I'm locked
mhm.
in.
Yeah?
locked in.
3, 2, 1, reveal.
I'm going to say
I'll
false
say
to that.
true.
Colin
Sounds
gets
like
a
it could be
point.
true.
It's
Ah,
false.
That
I
has
tricked
to be
ya.
a circumstance. That has to be them going like, "Oh, what are the odds?"
Right. The actual story was her husband, Dean Johnson, who works with like Bill Maher and stuff. He sometimes is on camera, but he's like a behind the scenes producer guy. I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway,
sure.
he loves Planet of the Apes. And as a wedding present, she like auditioned and got this role just to be in a Planet of the Apes movie for him. They had an
interesting.
ape cake topper at their wedding, allegedly. An
No
ape couple.
fucking way.
She
This guy
loves
loves Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
That's
so I just think
great.
it's so funny that Judy Greer is like, I'll lay down with a toy monkey and not
And
speak.
you
Yeah,
said
she
his
doesn't
name-
do that much.
She doesn't do anything.
You said
Yeah.
his name was Al Ruddy, Mike. That's his name.
Correct. Yep.
I love Apes movies. I'm gonna be a producer.
Yep.
Remember Jake? Remember Al Ruddy?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Godfather.
That's right. Miles
Oh, yeah.
Miles Teller. I like Judy
Heck yeah.
Greer, and I was like, why is she like such a big name actress in this small role as
This
an
I
role.
ape?
didn't realize till I saw that I was making
Yeah.
the notes for this. I've never put that together in all these years.
Well, when she says
She
Koba
died.
dies
She got
tonight,
killed
it
by
was
Michael
weird.
Myers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler! That's so sad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
bummer. But
yeah. Arrested Development.
it was just so bizarre to be like, yeah, Judy Greer, you're just in mocap to like not have a
Yeah.
speaking role. What a weird choice, but the wedding gift makes sense then. I guess question 3.
It kind of does look like her.
Yeah, they said we looked at the sexiest apes we could find to source. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah.
Me
Make my
neither. Let's
apes
move on.
extra sexy.
Who was in charge of that fact?
I don't know who that was. Fine, you got to look up the weather behind the scenes. But here we go. Number 3. Due to the CG nature of the final confrontation with Koba and Caesar, Andy Serkis and Toby Kebbell were unable to provide the physical performances, but did provide the facial and vocal performances for the final confrontation.
For the
so
the final
all the
confrontation.
choreography is CG. True or false?
Okay.
Good.
I'm locked in.
All right, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
I'm gonna say true.
Sounds
Wow.
very true.
I tricked you. It's false. It's
Wow.
false. They were able to build little scaffoldings and have little ramps to emulate stuff, and they were swinging around on stuff and doing their fight choreography.
What a fun day at work.
Because
Yeah.
you did trick me because I said I picked true because I thought because earlier you said, would you believe that whole scene was CG? So I thought, oh, maybe they animated all of that.
Maybe I set that,
Good trick.
planted that
Oh,
seed. I Kobe'd it up with that one.
You're freaking
Yeah.
Koba out here being
Fucking
sinister
false
and
flagged me
sneaky.
with that trivia.
No, I just want some Johnny Walker Blue Label, guys. I'm chill like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Number 4. Actor Karen Conoval, who plays Maurice, based Maurice on 3 separate real-life orangutans. The performance of Maurice was inspired by 3 real-life orangutans. True or false?
She had to have him on set, of course.
Yeah, it was in her rider. Yeah. I needed to what's my
All right, I'm locked
motivation? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, reveal.
True.
You said true. I think I've answered true every time so
Sounds
far, but
very cute.
That is
Yeah.
true. You both get a point. So there was one named Bruno who was like more kind of intense. So when he's being like protecting the kids, she took Bruno inspiration. Another one is called
Oh.
Tawan, who is very sweet. And that's kind of the heart and soul. And there's another one named Clyde that was a circus girl that walked upright and kind of gave her that posture of how to walk.
And there was
on
Clyde,
TV.
who of course could actually talk. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh."
yeah, you
He
do
was
sign language.
literate. Yeah, he actually could write English.
Would you guys say orangutans are your favorite apes that you would want to be friends with if you could pick out any?
Have you
ape
ever
to be friends
seen
with?
the
They're pretty chill,
Clint
seems like.
Eastwood movie where he has the orangutan every which way but loose?
I've never seen that, but I've
The
No.
orangutan in that film is named Clyde, and the director would say, "Okay, Clyde, showtime," and then Clyde would go.
You know what? Yeah, it's
I love
an
that.
orangutan.
I kind of do love them, Jacob.
the idea of Clint Eastwood acting with an ape is very funny to me.
Yeah.
Get off my fawn.
Should that be our bonus?
Oh man, Dunstan checks
I feel like
in.
there's so many. Yeah,
That's
Dunstan
the
checks in. There's so many
checks
ape
in.
movies to pick
MVP.
from.
How did those kids survive shooting with an actual ape in Dunstan Jackson?
Yeah, how was there
did it
not
go
a
Gordy's
nope
home?
situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gordy's
Gordy's
home.
home. Something this podcast references every 2 or 3 episodes. By
Yeah.
the way, we are obsessed
Yeah.
with Gordy's home.
What just makes me
Well,
think of what a good movie Nope was and how
It was
it's Jordan Peele's best movie and it's
It's
underappreciated.
so fucking good.
yeah.
And it's got horses in it too, just like this movie. But yeah,
Yeah,
the
Disney Jack.
Gordy's
Chris
home.
Kattan is in the pocket. He's doing a perfect performance of Gordy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's because they're terrifying. Apes are
Yeah.
incredibly strong.
Yeah.
I don't want to
You
get.
can rip your face off.
Yeah, it's happened. But let's do another question. Number 5. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the first film not to feature an appearance or footage or reference of Roddy McDowall and Charlton Heston. Because we had stuff on the TV in the last movie, and Planet of the Apes 2, we get a flashback of Roddy
Really?
McDowall, so, you know.
Yeah, there's the names, but there's really not a lot of references to the bigger series in this.
There's
Okay,
no,
I'm
like,
locked
visual
in.
callbacks in this one, true or false,
Yeah.
I guess.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, reveal.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna go
say
false.
false.
Yes,
I think you're
this
trying
is
to trick
sneaky.
us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't sneaking. Sometimes
Uh,
you think I'm gonna zig, I zag, right?
Wow.
This one didn't
I'll
have
go
any
Koba.
it didn't have like another Charlton Heston movie on in the background. It didn't have some recording.
Yeah.
It
I
was the
thought for
first
sure
one.
you would say, and of course, Roddy McDowell's son played, Blue Eyes. I'd be like, Mike.
Right. They could have had like when they're fucking with the radio, like you heard the transmission of the
Yeah.
hearing from
Well,
the
it's
government.
interesting.
Or
They
whatever.
set up this. They set up the Lost in Space thing in the last movie. It's interesting. They never brought that back somehow, where the
Never
astronauts
again.
land
That's
in
gonna be in the
war.
third Noah movie. Noah
Yeah.
lives in
Yeah.
the village.
It's crazy in
Yeah.
this one though when Cody Smith McPhee is reading the comic books with Maurice and he looks up and says, "Have you ever seen the movie Fright Night?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Starring Roddy McDowell. Yeah.
And you're like,
Right.
"Whoa, I guess so, Maurice."
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, they should. They should write that into the Kingdom trilogy that they're making or whatever, where
That
the
the ship comes
astronauts
back.
land, and it's
Yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg.
Oh,
Hey, boys.
and Pericles.
Yeah,
Dude,
I know.
that
Yeah,
would go
Pericles.
so crazy.
Oh, hey, buddy.
What a memory, Mike. Pericles. That's my
I can't-
boy. That's my son, Pericles.
That's my Koba trauma. I can't remove it. I wish I could move past it.
The drugs making your memory stronger, Mike.
Yeah, it makes just me sadder. I really don't like Mark Wahlberg. I hate Mark Wahlberg more every day.
Yeah.
I
Question
hate
6.
Wahlburgers. Don't even eat there. Yeah.
No.
I
The
hate
happening
Wall
gets
Street.
worse. Yeah. All right, 6. When hunting elk in the beginning of the film, the sound effects for the shrieks and screams of the chimps during the chase included the same sound effects used in the monolith scene in the opening of 2001: A Space Odyssey with the chimpanzees. Same sound effects as 2001: A Space Odyssey. True or false?
I do want to say before we answer, I did watch this with subtitles on as I watch most movies. And the number of times I saw the word written out, apes screeching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
They
lot.
like to screech.
Yeah, they are big screechers.
Boy, do
okay,
they
I'm
ever.
locked.
I'm locked in.
All right. 3, 2, 1, reveal.
True.
True.
I say
yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's in the mix. A little reference to maybe an allusion to the idea that no culture can be a monolith. Okay,
Yeah.
Caesar. Think about that. Anyway,
They throw a bone up in the sky and then it lands.
we needed that. Yeah. Anyway, little fun fact with that.
Space baby comes down.
And then it's a giant Barbie for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
This
it
is
is. You're right.
It's good stuff. 7. This is the Planet of the Apes film that propelled the Planet of the Apes franchise to surpass a lifetime gross of $1 billion. This got them over the $1 billion hump. True or false?
Okay. I'm locked in.
I'm locked
All
in.
right. 3, 2, 1, reveal.
False.
I'll say false
Yeah.
Wow.
as well.
It's
Felt like a
true.
trick was in there.
I know.
we're-
It's pretty tricky,
We're
but it's
suspecting
true.
tricks now. Wow.
When I was writing my quiz, it was at this point I thought to myself, they're going to be suspecting tricks. I should go straight.
All
I
the
thought
glory
you would
to your
say
quiz.
it was actually 2 billion. I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh,
I would do
great.
something like that. Yeah.
I'm
No,
wondering
it made
where
like
this
$700
ranks
million.
with the. Yeah, this is probably the most that any of them has made, or
That's crazy.
I don't know, maybe the newer ones made more.
I
But
don't think so.
I think it was like
I was wondering in
500
terms of
something.
in terms of franchises, where does this rank in like all of the obviously, like if you include something like the MCU as one franchise,
yeah,
that would kill
that's
everything.
hard. Yeah.
It's definitely below Jurassic
You got your
Park.
Harry
It's below
Potters, your
Transformers.
Jurassic Park,
I mean,
Fast
it's
and the
gonna be
Furious.
like most entries, quote unquote, because there's so many, But as far as actual
Maybe.
gross, I don't
But not
know.
even like you have James Bond, things like that have a
That
That's
lot.
probably
true.
competes with James
Entries.
Bond. I would
Yeah,
estimate.
he's spun in like the 20s. You're right. Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
movies there. Yeah. Well,
Which
we'll
is why
find
we're
out.
happy to announce our next long form series is every
Oh, man.
James Bond film.
That would take like multiple years. To
yes,
Yeah.
it would.
do.
Oh man.
We'll
I
have to
would-
think about what we're gonna do next. I'm interested to discuss what you guys want to do, but
Absolutely. But right now, I have another question.
we got some
Okay.
apes to talk about.
We got some apes to quiz up. All right. Matt Reeves, director, who rewrote much of the script, as I said, would go on to direct the Batman, admitted that he basically based Koba and Caesar's dynamic as a Batman Joker allegory.
Mm,
True or false?
mhm.
I'm locked in.
All right, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
True.
False.
Well, Jacob, you're now tied with Colin. It is false. I made that up completely.
I thought that was a trick.
Yep,
It's a trick.
you read that one. But
knew
is
it.
this a trick?
I
Is this
hate
next
the
one a
Joker.
trick?
I love the Riddler, so I would never do that.
Well, Kobe
I
is kind of
guess
like the
so.
Joker. Like, he loves toppling empires,
Yeah.
but he has no idea what to do if he actually caught one.
Right.
But here we go. Number 9. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the highest rated Planet of the Apes film with both critics and audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. Highest rated with both critics and audiences on Rotten Tomatoes.
Locked in.
Okay, I'm locked in.
All right, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
I say false.
It's
Only
false. There was a trick.
I say
Colin.
false
Oh,
because I think
On what
War was rated higher critically a little
I was
bit.
gonna
I mean,
say
they're
maybe
both
the
very good.
original.
So
Or the original,
Dawn
but yeah.
ties the original at highest for audience score at 88.
Okay.
But
Wow.
I think I remember the War being a little bit critically higher than Dawn, but not like they're both got good reviews, but War
Yeah.
people are like, it's even better than Dawn.
Jacob, you were dead on with that because War has a 94% critic score. So
Damn.
That movie must rule.
it does rule. Thinking
I'm
of
excited
last
to
time
watch
I've
it
seen
again. Yeah.
Bad
Yeah.
Monkey.
I haven't
I'm
seen it in a
looking
long
forward
time.
to it.
Bad
But
Ape.
But
Bad
Jacob
Ape.
is
Bad Wolf.
ooh,
Yeah.
no.
Has there ever been a Doctor Who where he like made
Where he talks
a
to an ape?
creature? Well, where he like made a creature smarter.
Um.
That's kind of more of a Rick and Morty thing to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He
I don't
draws the
think
line
so.
at changing memories. He won't add sentience.
Yeah, he
Right.
won't give autonomy to a fucking ape.
He likes controlling things. He doesn't like giving freedom. Yeah. But yeah, I got another couple questions here. Jacob's up by 1 right now. Oh yeah, number 10. The photos
Wow.
Dreyfus looks
I
at on
know
his
all your
tablet.
tricks. Sorry.
Yeah, I do. You know all your tricks, Dewey.
Can't trick me.
The photos Dreyfus looks at on his tablet of his family are photos of Gary Oldman's real-life children. True or false?
Oh my god.
I mean, I don't think they're the same age at the time of filming. Maybe they're old photos, but yeah, are they? Yeah, true or false?
I'm locked in.
Locked
All right.
in.
3, 2, 1, reveal.
False.
It's true.
Whew, man, Jacob, he's on fire. It's true.
Wow.
That's 3 in a row.
I think because I feel like they do that a lot with actors where it's like, yeah, do you have any family photos that we can use as your character's family? Because it's easier than just like staging family photos where you have to get kid actors and do a photo shoot where you're
It's
pretending.
weird that his response was, "I only have photos of my godson." And it was all these pictures of Daniel Radcliffe. It's like that doesn't make any
Oh.
sense. You're not
That-
Sirius
that's-
Black.
That's 3 Harry Potter actors in this series, right?
What's that?
There's like multiple Harry Potter actors in this franchise, I think.
Probably.
Is Andy
Probably.
Serkis in Harry Potter? I couldn't remember.
No,
I don't
he's not British.
think so.
Not allowed.
No, he was being Gollum
he's
at the time.
British?
No, he's not British.
I thought he was
but he's
like
not allowed.
Australian or something.
New
Oh.
Zealand, maybe?
I was gonna say, where is Andy Serkis
Zealand?
from?
I'm gonna look
Yeah,
it
let's pull it
right
up for a
now.
second. But I have
Oh,
2
he
more
is
questions.
English.
Oh,
he
dang,
is
so
English. He was born in Middlesex.
he was the
England.
cave troll.
That's right. Red
Yeah.
metal side.
He was born in the middle of sex. Gary Oldman.
We all were.
Oh yeah, this is the Gary Oldman stretch. That's right. I meant to
Gary
name this
Oldman's
segment.
British.
It's 3 Gary Oldmans in a row.
Yeah.
True or false? Gary Oldman's British.
True
True.
or false? Gary Oldman was born the year Newman died. True.
All new.
All right, number 11. Gary Oldman admitted in an interview that he only took the role for the money as he wasn't a fan of the franchise in general. True or false? Just did it for the money. Megaphoned
I'm
it in.
locked in.
I'm locked in.
All right, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
Easiest true
Yeah.
I've ever given.
Well, guess what, friend?
Unless it's a trick.
It's
Wow.
a trick. You've been fooled.
Maybe he never said that out loud, but he was probably
Yeah,
thinking.
That's the thing. Is he
Here's-
thought that, Mike?
What my research has told me is he has admitted in interviews that he often does just take roles for money. Like even his critically acclaimed roles, he's like, it's just a paycheck. But he said, I like the original movies and I liked the script for this. And that's why I took it.
Wow.
I bet he was
That's
bummed that he
fascinating.
wasn't an ape. I bet he was like, absolutely, I
Yeah.
want to play. And they're like, no.
The thing is, Gary Oldman is like a crazy method actor, like Daniel Day-Lewis, where he just tries to like disappear into his roles, and he's done a lot of varied roles and stuff. Dracula, of course.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's great in The Professional. Everyone. Yeah,
That's right.
so good.
He's kind of a weird. Didn't he say something about he has weird politics or something where he's like, I feel like he said something about PC culture or something.
Well, yes, he's
Hmm.
friends with the Trumps, I believe, directly.
Oh,
Do you know
damn
who
it.
his friend is?
Hmm.
No.
Do you know truly his best friend on the planet, and he appears in a lot of his specials, is
Who?
the magician Chris Angel.
What?
Really? Gary
Oh
Oldman.
man, the mind freak? You're freaking
Would
my
you, like-
mind.
How
I
did
think
you
he's
do
like
it?
a hardcore libertarian where he's like, I'm all about individual freedoms and stuff. But
I
he's
think
kind
he
of a
was one of
wacky
these
guy.
guys who was like intimacy coordinators. Bah!
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh no.
I thought he said. I think I was mixing up also with Jeremy Irons, who had that thing where he's like,
Yeah.
"But if gay people get married, then can a father marry his own son?"
Yeah.
Oh my
I was like,
god.
"What are you
Jeremy
talking about,
Irons
Jeremy
said
Irons?" Yeah, he has a really
Oh.
weird interview where he's like, "But what's to stop a father from marrying his own son?"
Just a
Oh my
lot of
God.
stuff.
Yeah,
Nope. Nope.
actors, man, they're all crazy. I don't
Right,
know.
It
right.
used to be.
Well, I have one more question, but unfortunately, Jacob is ahead by 2. But we can ask the question to.
This one's worth 1,000.
Worth
This
2
one's worth.
points.
That's the
Yeah, this one's
trick.
worth $1 million actually. Uh,
It's the snitch.
It's the golden snitch. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, number 12. Gary Oldman was in the running to play General Thade in Tim Burton's 2001 Planet of the Apes. True or false? He said he wanted to play an ape in this. Did he? Did he have another chance?
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Reveal.
True.
That sounds like it could be true.
It's very true. It's true.
There we go.
It's damn true.
Instead, it was Tim Roth. Was that the Tim Roth character?
Yes, correct. That's
You
Tim
think
Roth.
it's Tim Burton?
Tim
Yeah.
Burton.
And he got to do that sweet scene with Charlton Heston where he says, "This is a gun." Pretty
Yeah,
sick, right?
I just remember Tim Roth being like, "I don't like Charlton Heston. I don't agree with his views on guns.
Movie.
I wouldn't have worked with him had I known he was going to be in it."
Yeah, exactly. He felt duped.
Did we
Unfortunately.
say in that film, speaking of Harry Potter, when we were covering it, that he had to turn down playing Snape because he was like way overshooting on Planet of the Apes?
I did
Tim
not
Roth?
know that.
Yeah, he was the first choice
Oh.
for Severus Snape, and they were like, he was like, I can't do it.
No, but I'm
Dang.
pretty glad that they picked Alan Rickman because I feel like he kind of embodied that character so well.
I think we had the correct timeline with that one. But
Yeah.
with the score of 6-3, I'm unfortunately obligated to say Colin
Wow.
smart, Jacob
6
smarter.
to 3. Good work, dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always go to smartest branch.
Absolutely. And us apes are going to go to final thoughts, I guess, right after this.
We're back. We're about to close the book of Koba and keep talking Caesar. As we
Yes.
wrap up the middle of the trilogy, the Caesar trilogy, as we keep calling it here on Normies Like Us, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the dawn is coming to an end.
Absolutely. I love this movie. It's crazy that they named that salad after a talking ape, but here we are.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's right.
They're so good.
Yeah. Some people call the first movie chicken, the second movie Caesar, and the third movie salad in this trilogy.
Yeah.
I feel like he had to be named Caesar because he was such a good leader that, like, Caesar just fits him so well as a name.
Yeah. Again, the Shakespeare thing is so much worse than him just pointing at the Bible, which is truly like one of like the best moments in cinema. The way that music plays, everybody's like, gasp.
I keep forgetting his birth name is Milo because when he picks his own, he's like, "Nah, I am Caesar. I am a leader.
That's
I'm
right,
about to
Milo.
revolt." Yeah, Milo would not carry as
Milo.
much weight. Milo, weak.
I forgot that, of course, Arlo is named after his circus owner, or Arno. What is his name?
Aldo?
Aldo, thank you, yeah.
Right. No,
Right.
Aldo, no.
On.
Ape shall never
Name
kill
it.
Abe. As I was saying, this is kind of the reboot or remake of a lot of those ideas of Battle for Planet of the Apes. We get Caesar in that movie goes to watch the government hearing videos of his parents, and in this one he watches the video of Will Rodman.
That's right.
See that
I
that Caesar drinks grape juice plus in this one.
grape
though.
juice plus.
They
Yes.
could have given him grape juice plus. That would have been a perfect trade. That's the cultural exchange.
That's what Koba was trying to get some of that
Yo,
barley.
Koba
plus,
got
whatever.
some barley juice plus. Yeah.
I like the references to those earlier movies in this one. There's some like musical cues I feel like in the soundtrack with
score.
this one. The
Yeah.
score, little like xylophone playing and stuff. Where you're like, that
Weird
sounds
Company.
familiar. Yeah, which the
Yeah.
last movie didn't really have. It had more of a
No.
just a generic kind of score. So I was like, this is nice. It's paying homage to the originals. Kingdom does that too, so I'm excited to talk about that. But they're really leaning into the Planet of the Apes, and
Yeah.
it's a great
Yeah.
And
movie.
that's, I think, a guiding force. I think it's the Matt Reeves of it all. I think the guy really does have a style. And
Mhm.
you called this his big ticket, Jacob. That this
Yeah,
is the film that kind of brought him to blockbusterdom, and God bless him for that.
And
yeah.
he's
This is the movie that kind of made him like, oh, you can take on blockbuster franchises. You can direct a Batman movie. Yeah,
yeah, and like he did love the source material, and like you can tell the original script, from what I understand, it was like set a lot further in the future, maybe not Kingdom far, but like much further in the future. And he's like, no, I want to like
Mm,
just do this. I have this different idea. Just let me do this different idea, and otherwise I'm not going to do it. He was afraid of studio interference, so for them to be like, go for
yeah.
it.
It's kind of
That's
identifying what the problem is with the Kingdom movie, where it's like, no, why would we ever leave Caesar? Caesar's the best, and you're
As
like,
much as I like
yeah,
well.
Kingdom, Caesar's the
Yeah,
best.
but I think
yeah,
the Caesar trilogy is a perfect way to tell Caesar's story. So now they want to move beyond that and kind of time jump into the future where now Caesar is this like religious figure who died hundreds of years ago or whatever. But his teachings live on, and so that's like an interesting idea too.
This is almost like his empire. It's like the kind of sad moment in the middle because like it's the
Yeah, it's the
realization that
rise
apes
and
are
fall.
fallible,
yeah.
Yeah,
and now I need to navigate that as a leader, right? It's very
It's like
well
the
right.
done.
darkness to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And
think
he
the
knows that war
character
is coming.
Caesar is just so central to these movies. So yeah, it's good that they really dialed in and focused on him and Koba as these two opposing ways of thinking, the Magneto and Professor X of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, such a great movie. It's Shakespearean in
It
a way.
is.
Yeah.
Caesar, to me, my ape men. Um, yeah, I love this movie, and to have the first one where it's this kind of he has his self-actualization, becomes a revolutionary, and then now is like trying to lead and realizes not everything can be perfect. It's like, okay, the world is messy, and so now what's his next steps to kind of
Yeah.
maintain like
It's
his
really it is
people's
setting up
place?
the next movie, which is War for the Planet of the Apes, which is a war movie basically. So it's leading
Right.
up to like how did we get to the where we are now? And it's like this is how.
Yep. And the Easter egg I teased in the beginning for Malcolm's character and the future of his fate. I don't know about his family,
Mm,
but according to Hollywood and screenwriters, off screen, Woody Harrelson's character finds out Malcolm helped the apes and executes him because he hates apes so
Whoa,
much.
wow.
that's
So
crazy.
Woody Harrelson's
That's
character
crazy.
kills Malcolm because he was an ape sympathizer.
I don't
So
like that.
I don't like that at all. I would
That's
prefer
sad. I
him to
mean,
live with
James
Caesar.
Franco died of the Simian Flu off screen in between movies. Now Jason Clarke's dying off screen.
In
Yeah.
a worse set of blockbusters, when we get to the secret of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, of the thing that's like going on with the humans and that,
Mm-hmm.
there
Yeah.
would be a statue of Jason Clarke where it would say like our great first leader. You know what I mean? Like they would make so much more importance out of our minor characters. And I
Yeah.
much prefer this storytelling that people come and go, that like
Yeah.
there are just a lot of a huge ensemble of humans that come into our lives, our characters' lives. That's just so much more true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was so glad we didn't have James Franco return. It's like the first movie, it's like he outgrew that life. And then
Yeah.
it's like now when Jason Clarke, it's like he's bigger than Jason Clarke. Like
Yeah.
Caesar is a
Yeah.
mythic figure, and like
Yes.
I'm glad we don't stick with the same humans every movie. It's a way
Agreed.
great structure. That was a bad
Yeah. Yeah.
sentence.
For sure.
Yeah, I like this one. I'm not sure if it's my favorite. I'm excited to see War next year.
I
In
don't
July.
know
Yeah. We'll have to
either.
rank them at the end.
Yeah.
We'll have to rank them all. And it'll be interesting how we rank the old ones versus the new ones and all that.
Yeah.
So
It's
we'll have to
like
see.
I have nostalgia glasses on, but man, what a way to reboot a series. These first two entries are both really really strong. technical masterpieces. Andy Serkis is the GOAT. Like, we love Caesar. He's our best friend. We will die for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love him.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If so at the end of the movie when he does the forehead touch with Jason Clarke where he's like,
Yep.
you know, if Caesar did that to you, would it be like the best day of your life?
I
Where
mean,
you're like,
it's a move
Caesar
that
thinks I'm a
I
good person.
force onto my cat almost every interaction with her. I will lean down and just sort of like touch our foreheads together. So if
Yeah.
an animal willingly did it to me, I would think I was invincible.
Especially
Yeah.
if it was Caesar. That's like the equivalent of a Morton Joe looking at you if you're a war
Yeah.
bard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
He looked at
awaited.
me.
And
He
what if he
acknowledges
said,
me as an equal.
as a person, but what if he said, you were a good man?
Yeah.
Oh, no. That makes my
That
whole
would make
life.
my day.
What
Yeah.
if when he hugged you, he whispered in your ear, Caesar is home?
Dang.
Caesar is home.
Oh.
Wow.
I
To
love you,
make
Caesar.
like such simple English have the weight, like it is Shakespearean. Koba weaker. Like that line should fall
Yeah.
so flat, but it
But
hits.
it rules. You're right,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, and Andy Serkis does a great job as acting performance,
He's very
obviously.
talented.
Yeah, this movie's
Right
great.
It's astounding.
It just made me basically want to watch the next movie, and
Mhm.
now I got to wait
Almost
like a
right
month.
away.
It's really
Yeah.
hard to wait because they're so good. And yeah, I love that action sequence with Kobo 2 machine guns. That's going crazy hard. That tank shot, dude, it's
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah.
And the second one, or I'm sorry, the one after this is certainly one I've only ever seen one time before as well. So I am
Same.
Yeah,
I'm in
it's
the
been a
zone
while.
here. Yeah, I'm loving
Yeah.
these rewatches, guys.
And they're leveling it up. What
Hell
if we
yeah.
put water? Okay, what if we put snow that then melts into water? How hard can we make it on ourselves to put these apes in environments
Right.
and make it look real? So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But we've done it. That's the
Now let me ask you one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about this franchise is that they've never really made any video game tie-ins for this. Wouldn't you like a Planet of the Apes video game, like a Caesar game where you control Caesar or
Have
something? That would
you
be awesome.
played that sort of
Hmm.
Far Cry clone, the Avatar game that people
Hmm.
like?
I haven't, but that's my kind of game. It's a Ubisoft open world Avatar game.
They
Skin
have the
it,
Avatar
but
games.
how hard is that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, or just a game where you play like an ape, just one of the tribe. You have to work your way up to. You have to build Caesar's trust in you.
What's the PlayStation ones with the redheaded lady against the robots in nature?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
That would be another
Love that
good.
game.
Just skin that. It's an ape using a fucking crossbow. It
Yeah.
would be so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking here that there's a game called Planet of the Apes: Last Frontier, released in 2007 that takes place in between Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for Planet of the Apes.
Oh, it can't be good.
Wait,
Mike.
2007?
17.
Oh, I was like,
Gotta be
So
four.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the gameplay is. I haven't had time, but apparently there's a
no, it
game
can't be good.
that takes place in between these two. So you got a month if you want to
Interesting.
try it out.
Capable of
Yeah.
beating it by next episode.
Andy Serkis did the motion capture for it, so
No fucking way.
I
Really?
might have to
Yeah, if it was
research this.
if it was like a Shadow of War type game where you're taking down different like lieutenants and stuff, and like just an open world where you're swinging around the jungle,
Yeah.
I think it would be great. Yeah,
I got to look up the gameplay.
I'd love to.
Or the Mad Max game, which isn't really a tie-in,
Yeah.
but is so lore heavy. I could see something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if, like, what's the story implications to war? Oh, this looks weird. I still can't see gameplay. I don't know. I might have to research this if it's really cheap.
Good find, though. Interesting.
Very bizarre, but well, at least we answered that question.
yeah. Well,
Ape crazy.
that's all
But
I
yeah,
have to say.
yeah, I mean, I love it. I don't really know what more we can say. We kind of
Well, and there is that video game where all the apes escape based on this.
Mm-hmm. Ape Escape.
Yeah.
It's classic.
I think it's
That's
called
more the
Escape of the
first
Apes.
movie, but yeah, the first movie
Yeah.
tie-in. Yeah, good job, Andy Serkis. Good job, the whole team.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I could watch this at any time.
Yeah, Caesar's
So
my best friend. I love him. He's a real
that was
person to me.
that was it for our year, normies.
That's right.
Happy Norm year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be releasing basically almost on New Year's Eve. So
Wow.
happy New Year's, and here's to a good 2025.
We hope you're safe. Make good choices. If you're faced with your night with making a Caesar choice or a Koba choice, we hope you make a Caesar choice.
Inside of us,
That's
there are
right.
2 apes, one named Caesar, one named Koba, and it's the one you give a gun to wins.
Yeah.
Well, you wear
Remember-
that shirt all the time. 3 Apes Moon, Mike.
That's right. I love 3 Ape Moon. Yep.
Just remember the ape commandments. Ape shall not kill ape.
Yeah,
Apes together strong.
yeah.
That's
And
all you
watch
really
those-
need to know.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, just, don't utter those negative imperatives too often,
No.
Yeah.
Especially if you're human too, an ape. You'll get in trouble.
We love you. We hope you've been following along this year with all of our episodes, not just these ape ones. Once again, we're going to have another new long form series coming up. You can reach out to us at normies_like_us, where you can give us some suggestions. Say, hey, I want you to talk about X, Y, and Z. Yeah, there's a very good chance we'll do it. Follow along on our YouTube. It really helps when watching these quizzes as well. Makes you feel like you're
Absolutely.
participating.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You're part of the ape tribe now.
Normies together strong.
Not me. I live in the colony.
Oh,
Well, that guy's doing some weird stuff for sure.
yeah, no, we don't like that.
We don't know what
This is
they're
the
doing
first
over
time
there.
we saw that they're herbivores because they're eating that elk. Normally they've always, just saying, chimpanzees are
Yeah, well,
herbivores.
they're
Or
omnivores,
Sorry,
yeah.
omnivores. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. They're hunting elk at the beginning, but I believe that apes can mostly live off of like fruit and
Yeah.
But
things
they
like
do
that.
eat meat. They have canine teeth.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have
Right.
made the choice if you were a savage thing that got smart of like, well, I'm just not going to eat savage things?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're eating other animals, but I guess animals eat other animals in the
I
wild.
mean, we're smart.
Yeah.
We're smart and we eat
But are we?
savage things.
Right, no, we still hunt. But, in Planet of the Apes movies got to have a hunt scene of some sort. It's a staple.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yep. All right.
But we love the apes.
Yep. And
we love
resolution
the
is to
normies.
bring you more episodes next year.
That's right. It's going to be a great 2025.
It is.
What's going to go? Nothing. What could go wrong? What could possibly
What could go wrong? Nothing.
Having watched a movie about
All right.
ape insurrection, yeah. All right. Happy holidays.
Your host. This is Why Colin Rocket.
This is Ape Together Mike.
And this is Kaba, the mean ape.
All right, pod together strong, everybody. We'll catch you in the new year.
Bye,
Together
normies. I'm not
strong.
sick anymore.
Go.
Happy Norm years. Jacob is home.